Ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael and Mike of the Michael Decon program. It's goddamn amazing.
And welcome to a brand new life, to a brand new day, all the way from the wastelands of California. My name is Michael, and I am quite decorous indeed. Pleased to meet you. First-time listeners out there, thanks for finding this. We hope you do stick around. This is a very different kind of show, a place where we don't feel so alone. Let us chase away the light no matter what you at home choose to believe. We do admire you for your curiosity. Joining us tonight, a veteran of the program, the one and only Mr. Von Wehunt of the Von Wehunt program. And you too can get involved. That number is 760-332-8724. One more time, 760-332-8724. Oh yes, tonight will be fun, and I'm glad you are out there, and yes, we are live and direct. Hello out there. The time of Armageddon is here. So far, there's never been a dull moment in 2020. And we've got plenty to talk about here with Mr. Wehunt, who has returned yet again, a veteran of the program. And of course, he is a fellow show host. He's going to update us with what's going on over on his side of heaven. And of course, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Mike Hideous. Let's bring him in. Mike, what's going down?
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Decon.
How's it going, my friend?
It's going. I don't really have much to say about what's going on, but it's going.
It's been up and down, right?
Good to hear your voice, though, buddy.
Hey, it's good to hear yours, Mike. It's always an honor and pleasure to have you on the program.
And it's always an honor and a pleasure to be on.
Very nice. And of course, we should bring in Mr. Wehunt, who is patiently waiting. Oh, look at that. I could hear him listening to the program there in the background. Yes, Vaughn, before we bring you in here, please turn off your listening device, as they say. Let's try that again. Vaughn, what's going on?
Very nice. And of course, we should.
Hey, doing great.
I could hear myself in the background there, Vaughn. What's going on?
Well, I tell you what, man, I got this studio here going. And the speakers were on, and pleasure to be on your show. It's a fantastic time as well. I've been looking for this all week.
Oh no, Vaughn, you're cutting in and out like you are underwater.
Yeah, I hear that. Let me try my microphone.
There we go. Now you're sounding better.
Much better?
There you go.
Okay, that was it.
I don't know.
Well, I'm still hearing a bit of an echo.
I don't know what you did, but you sound a lot better now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you sound great now.
Awesome. You know, it's all this equipment, man, and, you know, microphones and speakers and wireware and this bunker.
That's where you are.
If you hear some more, let me know.
Yeah, you sound fine now. And of course,
Good.
I do want to thank you for being a part of the program yet again. So much has been going on. It's been pretty wild, Vaughn.
It has, Michael. It's been incredible, man. It's the news that's coming across my desk and yours every day is just amazing. I mean, right now, tonight's the big Trump rally in Oklahoma. And there's all these rumors of violence and threats are being made against the Trump supporters. So I think later on we'll have credible Twitter video to look at, you know?
That's what I'm hoping for. Twitter has been on fire with all the videos.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's the best news because, like I tell folks, I mean, and Mike, a big shout out to you, man.
Hello,
From the Misfits.
hello, Mr. Wehunt. How are you, buddy?
Hey, doing good. Hope you're doing great out there on the Eastern Seaboard. Yeah, I love Twitter because there's no panel, you know. And Mike, we've talked about this a few times that I don't like the CNN or Fox News or any of those bogus BS TV news shows because you got these bogus panels. And I want to see raw footage, man, raw video of the marches, the gunfire, the violence, whatever is going on, the good and the bad and the ugly. I want to see it all, you know, without some frickin' filter, you know, from the mainstream networks. That's what I can't stand.
If I may just chime in for a second, Mr. Wehunt, you make a very good point because for the longest time after the riots took place in New York City, the news simply did not show all the devastation that had taken place, I believe, on 45th and or 47th and 5th Avenue in New York City. I saw footage of blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of boarded up windows from these little anarchist bastards who broke the windows of all these places. Absolutely unbelievable. And the news did nothing. The media did nothing.
Yeah. Definitely true, man. It's like the mainstream media sucks. It's Fox News is what CNN was 20 years ago. You know,
Right.
Fox News. I keep telling these so-called conservatives, I go, look, man, I'm independent, but you guys think Fox News is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Fox News at times is okay. At times it sucks. All they do now, it's less beat reporters on the street. I'm a street guy, man. I want to see the reporter get his hands dirty. I want to see the film crew. I want to see them battle these, the BLM, the Antifa, like push them back. I love watching that stuff.
Right. No
With
doubt.
Filter. Yeah, I want to see it go down, man.
Me too. I'm excited. And last night they were going nuts out there in Seattle. They had a protest going on, and of course they had a party going on at the same time.
That's right.
Pretty outrageous, right?
Well, they call it Chaz, and they call what now the Chop. So I call it the Chop House. There's all kind of funny acronyms for that. Some people think CHOP stands for castrated homos on patrol. I don't know about that.
Wow.
Yeah, I've read that one. I think I made that up. I'm not sure, but
You just
I
heard
read
it somewhere. Yeah, you just heard it somewhere. You're just reporting it, no doubt.
Yeah.
No, I understand. No doubt. By the way,
And of course, Chaz is like the communist haven for Antifa zealots. I think I made that one up too. So I love their.
by the way, Vaughn, they are calling themselves CHOP now.
Yes, the Chop.
And what they can
They
chop,
think they have the
can chop
guillotine
this.
or something, and they're gonna cut some heads.
It seems like it. And Vaughn, by the way, I gotta ask, how are you doing out there in Arizona? Is everything going well? It seems like your town is getting, not your town, but your state rather, is getting plowed.
Yeah, we had this second wave of COVID-19. It's like you and I have talked about this, so Michael. I don't buy into. I think a lot of scare tactics
Right.
and things like that, but face masks to me are just window dressing. Can't really do a lot. So I think it's smart to let it go for a while. But most of that stuff is like in South Phoenix. Tucson got really hit, but I don't know one person, man, that's got COVID-19. Seriously.
Not one.
No. And every nurse I talk to, Michael, tells me that there's not a big of COVID-19 patients. So I kind of go to my theory in a way, a little bit. I think our so-called leaders are overreacting. I really do.
It's pretty wild what's going on. And of course, the sheriff out there that I keep hearing about so much. I'm forgetting the guy's name now. Oh wait, now I believe his name. What exactly?
Griffin.
Andy Griffin. I don't believe that's his name.
No? Okay.
That'd be nice if it actually was.
Yeah, get the town in shape, maybe.
Yeah, I believe it's a Mark
Maybe.
Lamb is the sheriff that I keep hearing so much about. Apparently, he tested positive for COVID after attending some sort of a campaign out there. And yeah, all the reports that I'm reading, it says that Arizona is getting slammed like a supermodel in the grotto at the Playboy Mansion in '85.
Love it. That's a great visual.
It's a beautiful
That's
visual.
an awesome. I was there. We probably are in some areas. We're down here in the bunker in the studio in North Valley, surrounded by mountains. They often call Arizona, we have the same topography as Afghanistan. So Afghanistan's never been conquered by 20, 30 years of American troops being over there. So we feel that we can withstand a New World Order invasion or a COVID-19 invasion. So we're pretty strong here, man. We're pretty strong. We're doing good. We're holding our own. I think you're right, though. Some of the reports are crazy. But again, I know lots of people, and not one person I know through the grapevine has COVID-19. I dated a few nurses a while back, and I asked them, and they said no. They don't have a clue. The hospitals are not overflowing with patients. It's weird.
Go ahead, Mike.
First of all, Mr. Wehunt, I want to also just make mention to you. Just try adjusting your microphone one more time. We're having you drop out. Are you hearing that, Michael?
Slightly at times, but right now
Yeah.
he sort of got clear, ever so slightly.
It seems that
Okay.
in some cases, if you speak low, it doesn't cut out. When you speak high, it tends to cut out. I don't know if you have batteries in it or something. I don't know, but I'm hearing a lot of dropout. I can't make out everything you're saying. Just wanted to bring that to your
Okay.
attention.
I appreciate that. Let me tweak this a little bit more, crank it up in a few areas, and let me know if it continues to be an issue, and we'll switch gears. I've got two here.
Right now you
So-
sound good, though.
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah,
You
you sounded-
sound it right now. I think it's in some cases it could be the Wi-Fi connection. For
It's
it. I'm
always
not
the
sure.
Wi-Fi.
It's
Yeah.
always the Wi-Fi.
It always is.
exactly.
That's okay, though. Now you sound great.
Yeah, you sound good.
Good.
Yeah.
I just want to make mention to the both of you, and I'm not trying to hog the show, but Michael, when you do get a chance, I have some interesting facts that I found out this week about BLM.
Really?
So whenever you're ready, there's no rush. We got the whole show, so please, by all means, let's hear what Mr. Wehunt has to say, and by all means, do your interview with him, and we'll carry on later about that.
Right. So, Vaughn, I'm just curious what you think of this whole situation right now with the media and the way they are instigating a sort of civil uprising.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the mainstream has been wanting a civil war in this country for many years because their ratings suck. And the only thing that's going to revive them financially and to get viewers back is to have a civil war. These guys have been losing millions of viewers because they're just so bad, they're so terrible, they're so biased. When I was a kid, was that long ago, you knew that the media was sort of left wing, and that they always had their little axe to grind and their agenda, right? But now it's really come out in the open where they tell you we're rabid Democrats. We're not even middle of the road. We're not even trying to understand anyone else's opinion. If you're independent, if you're libertarian, if whatever you think you are, they come right out and say this. So to me, the media, there is no such thing as a free press in this country. The media now are political activists. They are a political party in America. And people forget there's thousands of people that work, tens of thousands, maybe millions that work in the media, journalists, you got your editors, you got your copy people, your anchors, your newscasters, and they all vote. Every year the survey comes out, they all vote 99% Democrat. And a lot of them are communists. A lot of them are Bolsheviks. A lot of them are of that ilk. They really think that the Democrat Party doesn't go far enough. They believe that it should be more violent. And when they lose millions of people who really just want to get the news, right? Because I love raw. That's why I'm on Twitter all day. You see me. It's raw news. It's people uploading things from the street, man. And I'm a street guy. I want to see what's going down. I don't want some frickin' $1 million, queer on TV.
Amazing.
Tell me what the news is, and then go to a panel of people I have no respect for that are just retreads. They put on the news on CNN and Fox News constantly, and MSNBC. It's the same people that have been up there for 30 years, and they always get it wrong. They got it wrong, in 2016, 2018. So my think is when you sit there and listen to them, you're literally wasting valuable time. And they have never changed those people out. They're freaking dinosaurs, They're fossils. and I hate listening to them. So
I
I always go to
disagree with you
alternative
on
news
that
every
comment.
chance I get.
What was that, Mike? You have a point of contention.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wehunt. I disagree with you on that one comment about them being around forever. I personally think, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of older generation journalists, newscasters. However, I'm not exactly sure how old you are, but I'm in my early 50s, and I remember as a boy there were journalists who were dedicated journalists and took no side per se for the most part, and very, 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 very little did they ever give opinion. It was you do the news unbiased, you give the facts, and that's it. Since then, they have had, and I brought this up a while ago too. They have these things, these award ceremonies for newscasters. Who's the best news anchor man? Who is the best, had the best story, and so on and so forth. So it's become more of a publicity, if you will, a publicity stunt for the newsmen and newswomen, so they can get their awards of best anchor man, best story, so on and so forth. And it's not, in my opinion, it's not so much about the news, but about the ratings itself. They don't give a flying fart's ass about about the news itself. They just want to have their following, those people who will watch them, and get ratings, money, and awards. That's my take on it. So I don't necessarily believe that there are older people that have been around for a long time doing this. I think it's more of the younger generation, and I don't mean by like kids. I'm talking like maybe 20, 30, 40 years younger than the elder journalists from, say, the 70s, maybe even the 80s.
Yeah, I get that. And I think that's very, very true. What I'm saying, these panels seem to change, I would say, up their age or tenure, but they don't change their point of view. And so that's what I mean by that a political party. They are political activists. So you're right. I would agree that they might interact with people there, but the bottom line, their message is the same. And so they put out this agenda. And so, like, for example, Trump or any Republican president constantly gets railed against. Nothing they ever do is any good.
Right.
And it's like this mantra. And the minute Trump came into office, even 6 months prior, they're bashing the guy stop 24/7.
You are dropping in and out a little bit there, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I said you were dropping in and out a little bit there.
Still is.
Okay, gotcha. I'll check this mic. It doesn't matter if you like Trump or not. It's not about Trump. To me, it's about the truth.
That's
so
right.
It's about them getting the news. When I was a kid too, it was sort of a calling being a journalist, right? Like being a doctor or a lawyer. It was sort of a calling that you wanted to report the news and let the people decide. They got away from all that. And you're right. It's about the awards now and things of that nature. They want to be stars. They want to be in the entertainment business. They're not good looking enough to get to Hollywood, so they go into journalism.
You're absolutely
and
right.
that's where the ugly people go that really want to be movie stars.
Right.
They go into journalism, like the Jim Acostas, all these characters that are clowns. I mean, the president of the United fucking States is giving a press conference, and they're constantly raising their hand, interjecting, complete attention whores, man.
Yep.
And I'm going, you're not a journalist, you're
the fact that they interrupt him when he's talking, it blows my mind. You never heard that when Hussein Obama was in office. They wouldn't interrupt him because he was the fucking king.
That's right.
He could do nothing wrong.
By the way,
they worshiped the ground he walked on. But this guy, they just, it's just, Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
By the way, Vaughn, how are you sleeping? I'm just curious.
Why do you ask?
Because my sleep pattern is completely off.
Mine is too. Yeah. I have seen you on Twitter before at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I've always been like an erratic sleeper, is because my father was U.S. military for 30 years, and I think I told you the story once when I'd come down as a kid. He was a Vietnam vet. I mean, my dad called in the airstrikes against the North Vietnamese communists. And so years of attacking Charlie, when he's raising a family, he'd be walking around the house at 2 o'clock in the morning with a .45 caliber.
Wow.
Looking for Charlie.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow.
And
he was ready.
I would walk downstairs and say, "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" He would say, "I'm doing fine, son," while he's smoking his cigar. And you would see that Lucky Strike cigarette or something in the corner of the den, right? I mean, to me, that was normal. He was just protecting his family, right? And so I have his DNA. So in college and beyond, I've always had like erratic sleep patterns, man. And when I sleep, I sleep. But lately with all this news, Michael, it's been keeping me up at night, man.
That's right. That's where I was getting at. I guess it's the overstimulation of information, but I've always been this way. Pre-COVID, even before doing any show, I'm a night owl, just like you, Vaughn.
Yes. I call it a night hawk. I mean, we're night hawks, yeah, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I prefer to go to sleep at first light, which is about 4 a.m., because then you don't miss anything. And then I'll get up about 4 hours later now, about 8 or 9, and people on Twitter go, "Do you ever freaking sleep?" And I go, "No, I don't."
Yeah, we don't sleep. We don't. And Mike, what about you? Is your sleep pattern a little bit off?
Well, it's no more off than it has been for the last decade. I haven't slept a full night in 10 years, but that's medical issues.
Medical issues, right.
But yeah, I've been, I wouldn't say I have lost sleep over what's going on. As I said, it's normal sleep pattern. But I'll tell you one thing. I have most definitely been in a worrisome situation. I am extremely concerned on multiple levels, for these anarchists who are destroying and defacing and becoming violent with people, in addition to the dumbass, retarded, I'm sorry, wrong word, idiot politicians who are giving in to these requests about taking down statues.
I think you could say retard on the show. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to get hammered for that. But, it's just these people the politicians are giving into them, and I think that is wrong, because when keep in mind some of these Democrat politicians who have been in office, Pelosi, Schumer, a couple others, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've been in for at least 30 to 50, 40 years, and none of them ever said anything about the Confederate general statues that have been in the White House for all these years, including Hussein Obama. No one said a damn thing. And now, because of one criminal who got shot, who died accidentally, don't get me wrong, I don't think he should have died, but he was a criminal. And the fact that they're making a hero out of him, and they're telling everybody to reform, this is bullshit. And BLM they're the biggest bullshitters.
No, we'll get into that here tonight. Well, I guess it's safe to say that we are all sleeping a lot better than Paul D. Peterson, who of course pleaded guilty to running a fraud scheme for adoptions, but that's a whole other story. You could look into that, a former Arizona County assessor who pleaded guilty to running an adoption fraud scheme. My God. Arizona's finest, don't worry though. Yeah. He'll be forgiven, don't worry.
Oh, is he a Democrat?
I don't believe he's a Democrat. Or is he a Democrat? I haven't really...
Because if he's a Democrat, he'll get off the hook, just like they all do.
All I know is that he's in serious trouble. Anytime you mess with money like that and get involved in something that greasy, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
if he
Democrat.
if he was doing that kind of shit, who knows what other activities this guy was involved in. But yes, moving forward, as I mentioned it to you earlier here, Vaughn, I'm getting worried about you out there in Arizona. The CCP virus is running wild. I know you don't really think so, but goddamn, Vaughn, you might have to move out here. You never know.
I know, man. You never know. The California real estate, like where you're at, is reasonable, and you get closer to the coast, man, and it goes to the roof, right? So,
Right.
No, it's like everybody should have their bug out bag ready, whether it's COVID-19 coming to get you. And for some people, that's a major issue, Michael. You're right. And luckily, I'm healthy as a horse, and there's nothing. I'm a strong motherfucker, okay? So
Love
it takes
that.
a lot to bring me down. I'm the kind of guy in battle, you could shoot me 10 times, I'd still be firing to the last bullet. I'm like that. I'm old school. I'm hardcore, man. It's like, in fact, my best friend said the only way to bring you down is for like a whole freaking battalion to take you down. But for a lot of people, though, it's a huge issue, and I knock on wood as I'm talking to you that nobody will be affected by it. But it's still out there.
It's still out there.
That's my German Shepherd. And but yeah, it's the California, man. It's like I love it out there. Love the ocean, and it's great. But we always have to have our bug out bag ready, right?
Of course. At all times, it's going to be prepared. And as history has proven, we first got indications and a warning that the virus, COVID-19, would be making its way here, and many dismissed that notion the first go-around. And now we're seeing that a recent outbreak happened yet again. And that's what reports are stating. Go ahead.
Where were the riots, Michael? Where did the riots take place? In L.A.?
Which riots, Mike?
The recent ones for the death of
everywhere. L.A., Seattle.
But I mean,
Portland,
particularly in California.
In California, in L.A., there's been lots of riots there too. So predominantly.
This is what I'm getting at, is that I'm assuming that it was the large mass crowds that gathered to set ablaze whatever they didn't like.
Right.
That I'm assuming that's probably where this spike is coming from.
Well, no, the outbreak happened in Beijing.
I thought you said you've seen outbreaks in California.
No. I am talking about Beijing.
Oh, yeah. Well, Beijing's not in California. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But yes, we're seeing reports of that happening out there. And of course, they're saying it's all under control. Don't worry. But hey, it's hard to even trust them, right? At this point. Are they telling the truth? Are they not? We don't know.
I don't believe them anymore.
COVID-19 isn't anything as deadly as what can be found in these P4 level military labs. There lays a long list of nasty creations, by the way, ready to set loose on humanity for those that don't know. So yes, very interesting situation yet again, Vaughn and Mike.
Always.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't believe everything the authorities say. And again, I go back to my original playbook, Michael. They couldn't get President Trump on the Russian collusion. They couldn't get him on impeachment. And people have forgotten about that impeachment fiasco.
They completely forgot.
Several months ago.
Yeah.
They've completely forgot. I always say the attention span of your average American, Mr. and Mrs. America, is probably a day.
Most likely. Best. Yeah, they forget right away. Most people do. It's astonishing, really.
Yeah.
What happened to Jeffrey Epstein? He's gone.
Exactly. Good point, Mike.
Now, some people will say that Jeffrey Epstein's sharing cocktails with George Floyd at some posh resort. Because I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this on Twitter, and I noticed it right away, too. It's a weird video. And I've seen the whole video, and the one screenshot shows George Floyd with some hair. And when he's on the ground, it's a bald guy. Have you seen that one? That one really, it's almost like that was a CGI stunt, a deep state, claim or false flag. It's
Are you telling me, Vaughn, that this was a psyop?
Very well could be. Absolutely, I believe that, because there's so many things that don't check out. For example, the police officer uniforms. If you zoom in on their uniforms, they're not identical. The badges don't look in alignment. The hair on George Floyd on the ground, and if you go to the prior screens, which I have many times, he has hair. When they first apprehend him, the man on the ground is bald. How did he lose his hair in 30 seconds?
Stress.
Just saying. A lot of weird things about that.
That's a good answer.
A lot of people have also reported that George Floyd we all know he's a career criminal. I'm not going to candy coat it. There's also a lot of information that he might have been a member of the Illuminati and a Mason. And we all know they have ties to secret societies and things like that.
I doubt
it's
that
also
very much,
really
Mr.
weird
Wehunt.
about the video. If you watch the video again from start to finish, a lot of police protocol inconsistencies. Why do they need 2 squad cars to come by of a man that supposedly was going to, spend a counterfeit $20 bill? Does that act alone require all those 4 or 5 police officers? I don't think so.
Good point, but yeah, there's a lot of strange anomalies surrounding that video in question, no doubt. I have seen several of these anomalies you speak of, and Mike, go ahead. I think you have a point of contention in what Mr. Von Wehunt just said in terms of Freemasonry, I believe.
Yeah, 2 things.
Go ahead.
The whole thing with there being 4 squad cars for this arrest, that's no big deal. When I got arrested back in 2005, there were 11 squad cars, and it was just me, this skinny little white guy. And the other thing is him being a Mason.
Right.
He was too stupid to be a Mason. Okay.
You think so?
I don't know if you saw any of the interviews of him right before he was going to do his porno movie, but the guy did not have much going on upstairs. He was rather dim, for lack of a better term.
Are you bringing up his past as a porn star, Mike?
Yes,
some way
sure
to
am,
disparage his character?
Yeah, and you know why? Because it is the BLM who is making such a big deal out of this guy. He was so good, and he was such an asset to society. Meanwhile, he was, the toxicology report showed that he was on methamphetamine, fentanyl, smoked marijuana, possibly intoxicated on alcohol, had the track record of, passing out counterfeit bills, from what I was told on the air with Michael, that he held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, threatening to blow the baby apart.
That's not a big deal to me, though.
But let me get my point across. What I'm trying to say is that they are making a hero out of a man who was not even close to being a hero. And then they want to tear down statues of great men. Needless to say, they were on the Southern Confederate side in the Civil War as generals. They were great generals. These men were intelligent. They were strong. They were fighters. They fought for their country. What the hell did Floyd do?
Well, porn star lives matter, Mike. They are essential in business here. They're essential business, yeah.
Well, I know, and I know porn has jumped up by multitudes
insanely,
insane points since this whole virus started up. But
I can't believe it.
I digress. My whole point is they have every one of these black men that have been shot by police, whether it was uncalled for or called for in the line of police duty. Every single one of these guys, with the exception of one maybe, that were killed, that made a big, that made all the news, they were all involved in some sort of a crime. I mean, how do you lower your standards to a point where you make a hero out of a man who's been killed, who was passing out counterfeit bills, doing porno, and on drugs? I mean, explain to me how this guy is a friggin' hero.
We should build a shrine for him.
No, we shouldn't.
Can you imagine if that's what they do next? They
I'm sure
they make
they
a
will.
statue of George Floyd. That's awesome.
Just the fact that
I hope somebody
these anarchists are defacing monuments and taking over police stations. It's absurd. It is absolutely absurd.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, if they have a shrine or a statue to George Floyd, I hope they tear it down.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
that
won't happen.
That would be hideous.
It's going to be on
to quote your name. That would be a hideous example of America. I mean, look, George Floyd's a common criminal, man. And what gets me is they always talk about the police shooting a few black thugs, to be blunt. They don't tell you about all the black on white violence in this country. That's where it's blowing up. I mean, there's far more examples of whites being knifed and shanked and shot at by coast to
That's
coast,
right.
Not the other way around. Those are the real stats. But of course, the media, they don't want to report on that because it's not politically correct, you know?
You're cutting in and out there, Vaughn.
Gotcha.
I think you are better now, but yes. You can see all these videos, though, freely on the internet. The ones the media won't show you. The videos of, black individuals taking their anger and frustration out on white drivers. I was seeing this on Twitter, but again, with all the focus going on around the world, the centerpiece is a distorted message that has caused more harm than good. I think we could all agree on that end. Of course, you could only wish this sort of attention was spent on more serious matters.
That's right.
I'm sure we can all agree with that.
For the record,
absolutely.
For the record,
Well, let me interject here for you a moment. This whole last week on Twitter, they were complaining about Aunt Jemima, right?
Oh, my God.
And they're attacking all these food brands like Mrs. Butterworth, Aunt Jemima. But yeah, we've got Russian bombers off the coast of Alaska every day. They're flying bombers and fighters against, a mile or two off our coast. Hardly ever reported, right?
Right.
But yet they'll spend all this mainstream media time on racial stuff.
Of course.
They want to on like the Aunt Jemima pancake syrup. You've got the Mrs. Butterworth. You've got Cracker Jack. You've got Uncle Ben's rice. So that's why people hate the mainstream media. They don't report real news. They find controversial things to make money off and to get more advertising dollars. And on top of that, corporate America has sent BLM $2 billion in cash, man. So when their businesses get torched, or their restaurants or their factories or their warehouses get torched by arson, don't come to us and be crying about it. Don't look to me for any frickin' sympathy. I'm going to look right back at them and go, you guys are funding your own demise.
That's right.
You're giving money to the violent mob. So don't bitch and moan when your Wendy's gets torched at midnight. No one cares now. Any goodwill that you had is gone.
By the way,
we had the Chick-fil-A guy just say he wants that every white person in this country should shine the BLM's shoes.
Oh my, yeah. By the way,
God,
the Wendy's was set on fire by a white woman. By the way,
yeah, idiot.
She was, but she was a BLM supporter.
She was brainwashed, no doubt.
Right. Doesn't matter to me if you're black, brown, white, because all of Antifa are mainly white. To me, they're all communists. If you're black, brown, yellow, purple, and different, I don't care what color they are. per se. To me, they're all in that Bolshevik, Marxist, communist genre.
Fascists.
Or that.
They are exactly
well, they're far,
what
far
they say
left
they're not.
of the Democrat Party. They want a violent takeover of the country.
Yeah, that's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on right now in the country, and we see what went on in Seattle. We're seeing this sort of cultural revolution, as they say, this new woke order. That's what I like to call it, Vaughn. The new woke order.
I like it. I dig it. Well, you had that African warlord there in Seattle, Chaz-Shop, hand out AR-15s.
Ras Simone, right.
Okay, so my thing is, how this homeless African guy, street punk, get a hold of a Tesla and 20, 30 AR-15s. I own 2. I have a whole arsenal, but those guns cost at least $700-800 for a decent one in most gun stores. Where do you get all the cash for that? See, that's what I'm driving at. Is these guys are funded by rich people behind the scenes.
Of course.
And a lot of people know that the DNC funds people and Antifa. So does George Soros. So they're funded by a lot of rich people that are giving them lots of cash. Now they have corporate cash coming in. My friends in the work in corporate America tell me all the frickin' diversity seminars that they've got planned that are webinars, and God forbid you say anything against BLM now in corporate America or Antifa and you're fired.
Really?
I'd like to say something.
Yes, I have a lot of friends in corporate America. I know guys that work in the mortgage business, sales, insurance, one engineer, few call center people, and they go and they forward me all these corporate directives. They got the presidents doing secret internal webinars telling them, we stand by BLM, giving them $1 million. You better not say anything bad about this when we reopen our offices. We're going to be scrutinizing you. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a message for BLM.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
It's very short. FUBLM. That's it.
Ditto.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But so what we're seeing is America's leftists out there. They are pretty much dead set on remaking this country. That's what's going on. And actually, Obama actually said he was going to fundamentally change the foundation of America, which I believe he did. He wasn't lying.
Yes.
Communist.
Obama is a Marxist. And you're right, Michael. He always said he wanted to fundamentally. When he said that, I took him at his word. A lot of white people blew him off and thought, oh, he's just saying that. It's a little slogan. No, he really meant it. And he's behind a lot of this stuff now, in my book anyway. I mean, it's leaked out. He has a shadow presidency. He's fomenting all this because we had it under Obama. Again, the American people forget we had Ferguson. That was a huge riot. We had Baltimore. We had the Chicago riots. We had those riots in Dallas where they shot at all the police officers. And they were all over the country. Obama was trying to create civil war under his presidency so then he could declare martial law. It didn't really happen the way he wanted it to. And so they thought Hillary was going to be, was going to win. And then Trump comes by and kicks her off the horse. And that was not part of their plan.
Right. Not part of the agenda.
Trump is the bull in the china shop, man. He thwarted all their plans, and that's why they're all pissed off at him. He doesn't play by their playbook. He has his own. He's surrounded by enemies. So
that's what I hear. Surrounded by enemies, no doubt. And again, I'll drive this point home again. America is in a new cultural civil war. No doubt about it.
I just want to say one thing so you guys are aware of this. The co-founder of BLM is, and I heard her say it from her mouth, is a self-proclaimed Marxist. Number one.
Yes.
She has also came to the side of that fart sniffing asshole Farrakhan, the racist prick that he is, when he was removed from Facebook for anti-Semitic and anti-white rhetoric. Didn't hear about that, did you?
Not much. You're right.
That is a fact.
You didn't hear too much about that. You're right, Mike.
You're spot on, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, I did my homework this week.
Well, BLM, people, used to hear these things that we're talking about, I'd say, until probably Obama got in, but even up to a few years ago when I was doing my radio show at KFNX, and they would call and go, "Are you serious? Is this really going on?" And I go, "Look, put down your pizza slice, put down your beer. What most of America has been doing is they were watching Dance with the Stars, and they were running around town with no place to go, burning up gas, bitching about their life, drinking beer, eating wings, paying no attention to any of this stuff." Right. I was on it like you guys on like a freaking laser beam, because when I see threats, it's in my DNA. I watch those threats. And so I was all over this stuff. I was sort of the canary in the coal mine here in Phoenix. There were a lot of rhino talk show hosts, and people would call my show and go, "You're the only show that tells us what's really going on and what's coming down the frickin' pike." And I go, I told folks, I predict you'll see riots, chaos, and civil unrest, shootings, skirmishes in the not too distant future and all over the country. And I was right, because I saw this stuff brewing and brewing, right? That we have this emerging underclass of uneducated people, and they're not well-intentioned, and they are misguided, and they do seek to harm you. They have been told that you have to burn it all down and build it up in your image. And that's the problem. They don't want to work within the confines of the system that's pretty damn good for most Americans. Again, white, brown, black, and different. They have to burn it down. And then you have these white Antifa kids all over the country who are in mom's basement, playing video games. They're afraid to take you on one-on-one. They can only fight you in a group. Right?
Of course.
So they are a bunch of punks that can't win in a real fist fight. So they get all blacked up in ninja black, and they get out there. And I've seen these Twitter videos where I tell folks they will surround you like jackals and hyenas, and you're the lion on the African safari. And their whole goal is to get you on the ground as fast as possible, and then they go in for the head kicks. They want to paralyze you. In fact, the Antifa guy in Portland even said, "We want to fuck people up. We want to maim them for life. We want to make them a paraplegic.
Wow.
We want to kill them."
These people should be shipped to Iraq.
I know. But and these kids think by dressing in black and being the ninja Antifa guy, they're going to escape prosecution. What a lot of them are finding out is they are infiltrated. And a lot of these people are getting court orders now from Minneapolis.
Right.
Because we all know they drove from Seattle and Portland to Minneapolis to have quote unquote fun. And now they're being given federal charges. And felony arson, felony assault, felony riot, and they're looking at 10 years in federal prison. A lot of them.
Not enough.
These are a lot of younger generations, by the way, that have no idea what the fuck they're doing. It's pretty remarkable, really. The Leninism that is currently in play in Seattle and Atlanta and other major cities near you, perhaps. Wow.
Oh, yeah. We got them here. We have, BLM shut down our highways during the 2016 election. We had a little riot in Phoenix, actually, with BLM and Antifa. I was there, boots on the ground in the thick of it, man. and it was on my doorstep, I'll be out there. I was out there, and there were smoke bombs, and I saw Antifa come by with baseball bats, and trust me, I was watching my back, and I went solo, actually.
Wow.
But actually, I went to the parking garage, and they got into a battle with the Phoenix police, who are not like these people you see that kneel. The Phoenix police are very tough. They've seen it all. They've done it all. And so they weren't messing around with these kids. It was quite the scuffle. I mean, tear gas, you name it.
Right. And along with the new policies that are in place by future police departments, if there are any, the question is, will the media put out a message on common sense? The fact that American citizens believe they have all the rights in the world to resist arrest is beyond belief, in my opinion. Do people deserve to die for resisting arrest? Of course not. I don't always think that is the case, nor do I believe many times these officers tell themselves before, going to work, oh, today is the day. I'm going to kill someone.
I'm going to kill a black guy.
I'm going to kill a black guy. That's exactly what's going through my mind. The probability on that is insanely low, and things have become completely distorted all around us. And now, because of a few bad apples, as they say, we are all paying the price. Even, well, not us, especially the police departments all over the place. Now, all of them are scared shitless.
Can't blame them.
Everyone wants to put the screws to you, and this is why we all have to carry a strong, focused mentality, especially right now.
And Michael, like Mr. Wehunt said before, you don't hear about all the facts that are really happening. And again, there are more white people shot by black cops every year compared to the amount of blacks that are shot without a weapon or something by a white cop.
White people in general are getting smoked by cops.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No doubt.
It's such horseshit. Every time I hear this, I just get angry. Being a Caucasian myself, I can't stand what I'm hearing. I can't stand it. And I blame everything on BLM and our weak government for not kicking their ass. And the fact that these billionaires are giving them
they're allowing
shitloads of money is why is this happening?
They're allowing it, Mike. It's insane that they are definitely complicit with these sort of activities that are going on, Mike. They definitely want to watch it all burn down.
Indeed.
Wow.
In my view, what we've got, Mike, you're spot on there. You and Michael, what I see too is, to me, it even goes more to the jugular. The BLM and the Antifa, they want to, especially BLM, they have said, we want to dominate you, America. Yeah. Dominate the streets, dominate sports, dominate corporate America, dominate entertainment. Domination is their game. And they're saying, if you don't agree with us, if you aren't on board with us, if you aren't funding us, because now they have that catchy slogan, silence is violence, by God forbid if you're quiet, but if you don't vocally say BLM is great, Black Lives Matter, more BS and all that, then they're going to attack you. They're going to get you fired. They want to impoverish you, or they're going to sue you. So it's a domination game played on the streets of America. And I said from day one, and I said this even 2, 3, 4 years ago, if you don't get a frickin' grip on this, and I mean a firm iron German, grip on this situation, you are going to totally screw yourself, because what happens is we've set up precedents now, okay, where you can attack police, berate them. Now you have police saying, I'm paid to take your abuse.
Yeah.
People have got bills, wants to shoot anybody. Why? It's a pain in the frickin' ass. They got paperwork out the yin yang. They got the media calling their boss, their captain, their sergeant. They don't want to deal with all the bad press. Now you've got internal affairs looking at you, and they all want to fire him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what's going on right now. And again, I am disturbed that all these individuals out there at the very, very top are just allowing this sort of a mayhem to go down. All of this can easily be cleared up and taken care of rather simply. Yet they are definitely allowing it to go down, Mike and Vaughn. Good
They
Lord.
are.
Yes, and we've been talking off air privately, by the way, Vaughn, about a long list of things. For instance, your show making its return, and we will touch base on that as we travel on. But right now, Vaughn, I just wanted to quickly say I'm seeing things in a rather dark and destructive way. I'm perturbed as the world turns and the cities burn. A part of me is also not bothered by it. A part of me feels like I was expecting something like this on the horizon. And what is happening now is the perfect storm for those on the deep end of the left to take advantage of this. To be honest with you, this is a method, I'm sure, which will be used against the President of the United States to con the American people to seriously consider voting for the brain-dead, brain-deficient Joe Biden. Now that is preternatural, in other words. And in other words, the left will use this, what is currently happening, as a way to inveigle the American people, Vaughn.
Yes,
You
and
like
I would
that
tell
word,
the American
inveigle.
people, listeners, that do not stand around and get dominated street thugs. Don't get dominated by BLM or Antifa. When you go public, I tell everyone, you really got to have your hand on a swivel. You really got to be ready for anything. Watch your clock. You know? But that's their game. Their game, boil it down, it's the violent overthrow of the American way of life. They are not going to be satisfied no matter how much money you give them, no matter how many times people kneel, no matter how many billions from corporate America. They want complete domination, because here's the problem, guys. They've tasted blood, and they want more of it. And they want American blood now. They want blood in the streets. And I told folks years ago when Obama was in their army, encouraging them, empowering the underclass, all of the militant minorities, not all people, but there are a lot of militant from Antifa, BLM, that they were armed, they were encouraged, and he was hoping they would rise up. It's a Bolshevik Marxist street army. Their leaders are hardcore Marxists. They really are. And like Mike did that research on a BLM, Antifa
Right.
has the same. That Antifa flag was flown in the 1920s. People forget that when the Soviet menace, it was called, when Lenin took over Russia in 1917 with the Russian Revolution, they weren't satisfied with just having Russia, a massive country. The first thing the communists did is they sent thousands of emissaries and agents all into the capitals of Europe. They wanted all of Europe to turn communist. They sent them to Brussels, Berlin, London, Spain, Madrid, Denmark, to foster revolution. And a big part of it is what we're seeing today. This is the same playbook they were using back then. And I've always told folks that a guy like Adolf Hitler came to power as a checkmate to Antifa,
Oy vey.
to the Soviet menace. That's why Hitler was fascinated by the East. And any historian will tell you he wanted to conquer the East because that was the belly of the beast where all this red Soviet communism came from. That's why he went in there, to conquer it. And he almost succeeded. You know, he got 16 miles to Moscow, and he's no saint either. But my thing is, history creates people in these perfect storms. And that can also happen in America.
No doubt. And let me be diaphanously clear. I'm still wondering what we will witness once Biden and Trump square off for a debate. You know, I expect a train wreck. I hope this time Biden takes his meds. He's going to need them this time. And Trump, I also must say, I've been watching other videos of him where he's walking slowly down some ramp. The media was making a big deal out of it, but I didn't really care too much about that. All I kept thinking was, how is this brain dead, brain deficient Joe Biden going to debate against Donald Trump? It's going to be very difficult for the man. Even with an earpiece, I think he's going to get demolished.
I still don't understand how he is allowed to have an earpiece.
I think he will. Yeah, I don't know about that, Mike. As soon as I said those words, as I was conveying that message, I was thinking to myself, how the fuck is that even possible? How is he going to be wearing an earpiece? Legal. Yeah, but that's what I keep hearing about. Is that true, Mike? Do you think that's going to happen? And Vaughn, same thing. Is our friend Joe Biden actually going to be wired up?
I don't think he will. And if he is, I think it would be completely unlawful to the rules of debating for presidential candidates.
I think Biden's man is going to walk out there like Max Headroom, you know, from the 1980s. He's going to be a caricature of himself. He's going to sound completely stupid. He'll be drugged up that night, big time, guys, and they'll edit the debate, the mainstream media, to make him look good. He'll be say one little clever line, and they'll replay that 1,000 times to show, oh, look how wonderful and how worldly and how clever Biden is against the president, knowing full well most of the country won't watch the actual debate. Trump's going to cream him in real time. Trump, I haven't noticed any change in Trump's gait or talk at all. So again, he likes to do stupid things.
Oh no, you're cutting up there,
aren't
Vaughn.
Even relevant.
Vaughn, you were cutting up there.
Yeah, try pulling back a little bit from your microphone a little bit.
On stupid things that aren't relevant.
What was that, Mike?
I was saying to Mr. Wehunt, just come back a little bit away from your microphone. You're breaking up really bad.
Gotcha.
I think that's just
saying.
I think that's just a matter of reception.
Might be reception. It could be a wire. Who knows at this point? But we keep losing all these important statements that Mr. Wehunt is making.
Yes, restart. Go ahead, Vaughn. Go ahead and repeat what you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying.
Damn it.
Yeah, you cut off there again.
Gone.
Is this better?
You sound better. Yes, go ahead.
For now.
Okay, great. I was just saying that this is a different mic that I've got here. I've got like 2 or 3 here that I was trying to configure. But basically, I was just saying that Trump's going to beat Biden in real time. And unfortunately, the media won't report on it because they hate Trump so much that our media and the DNC are willing to burn down the entire nation. They don't. I always tell folks, they don't give a flying F about you or me. Nope. They don't. The media does not care about you. They don't care if BLM torches your home or your business. They don't care. To them, it's ratings, and it's all about this election. Everything is designed and hinges on this election. You have a lot of people in America right now that say, oh, elections don't matter. It's all the Illuminati. All that is partially true. But there is a reality to politics. And I've always said, folks, that elections do have consequences, right? So the consequence of, and again, it's not about Trump being so great. To me, Trump, I voted for him. I'm a Trump guy, though he's not perfect. He's not exactly what I wanted. I think I think they have gotten to him a little bit. I think he's probably received threats, and a lot of threats over the last 3 years, 4 years. And I think he's quieted down a little bit, okay? When he came in 2016, man, it sounded like we were going to have 1 million illegals deported, the wall up in 48 hours, and armed troops on our border, and the Chinese bastards kicked out. And that's what people voted for, is 3 or 4 simple things. fast forward till today, and the country's in turmoil, and I just believe that Trump needs to start firing those Pentagon generals.
Right. And by the way, Vaughn,
generals are not on his side.
They're not on his side, right. And by the way, Vaughn, I just wanted to quickly add on that you finally sound a lot better this time. You don't sound like you're underwater. Wow.
It's the microphone.
Yeah, it's the mic.
Good.
Yeah, you sound great now. But yes, what we are seeing right now is 100% synthetic. The machine is backing and supporting the chaos that's going down in Seattle and Atlanta. Again, the media has instigated a civil war with their never-ending propaganda, their yellow journalism. I'm not sure if you're even allowed to use that term anymore, by the way. Can you say yellow journalism? Is that allowed?
You just did.
Is that a naughty word, by the way, Vaughn? Can you say yellow journalism, or is that a banned word?
I love it. In fact, I call it the Lügenpresse.
The
Lügenpresse.
By the way, for those that don't know, Vaughn is German.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think people
German
know.
Italian roots, and my father was full-blooded German. Lügenpresse means it means yellow journalism in German, basically the fake news people. That's been a term that has been used for a long time. And look, we have it in this country where it's like it's like your clever uncle or dad would always tell you, don't believe everything you hear, son. Don't believe everything you read. And that axiom has not changed one iota. I always question everything, as you do, and
always, right.
I know both you guys do that. You have to, because the mainstream news sucks, and that's why I've always went to alternative news, because I put it all together, and the algorithm that comes up in my brain is going to be pretty damn close to truth and what's going on. Again, it's just a waste of time to watch the national news. But if Trump does not win this election, and I've always said he needs to extend the unemployment benefits, because you've got 45.6 million Americans out of work, and you can't shut down the entire economy and say deal with it. Doesn't work that way. If you break it, you fix it. And the government shut everything down. They broke the economy. We all know the reasons why: COVID, blah, blah, blah. Dr. Fauci got involved, a deep state doctor, and all that stuff. So my thing is, you guys shut it down for whatever reason, and now you got almost 50 million Americans out of work. I'm sorry, but you got to pay them, man. You got to pay them, because there's a lot of white people in the suburbs, to be blunt, who voted for Trump. And if you don't pay them, they're not going to vote for his ass in November. They're going to be pissed off. They got families to feed, mortgages, and no one's hiring. I know a lot of people that are unemployed right now in Phoenix, and all the companies have hiring freezes, man. Very few companies are hiring, even for restaurants and bars. Corporate America, they're accepting applications, but they're not really doing many callbacks. So it's real minuscule what's going on out there in the hiring range. So I told folks, you're going to be out of work till probably next year, 2021, to be realistic about it.
By the way, Vaughn, what do you say about those individuals out there who say they are not going to vote for Trump because he's supporting this sort of Zionistic agenda?
They're partially correct, but look, I would tell them this, that I get what they're saying, but every presidency, you can go back, again, I don't like it, but every presidency has had a Zionist infiltration. This has been going on for decades in America. To be blunt, we created Israel as the Jewish state. America was not created as a Jewish state, to be very concise about it. It wasn't. It was all the founding fathers. None of them were Jews. They were all white Christian men from Europe who lived under monarchies. And they were very dangerous men who started this country. We've gotten so far away from that if they came back now, they would just totally shake their head. I always remind people that Benjamin Franklin, one of my favorites, who used to plunder the French court and have a lot of dalliances with the French ladies during the Revolution to secure funding and things. But he always said, look, we gave you a republic if you can keep it. There's never a guarantee that this country was going to be etched in stone for 1,000 years. Look at the Third Reich. They lasted for 12 years. A lot of countries don't last 20, 30, 40 years.
No, they don't.
So we've been around for about 240 years. Luckily, we've had nothing but problems. And I think a lot of the problems we bring on ourselves, man.
I believe so.
And also these people, to answer your question, Michael Moore, there's a lot of single issue voters, what I call single issue. You'll never get folks 100% out of anybody up there. If you get 20, 30, 40% of what you want, consider it a resounding success.
Understood.
I know one thing, Hillary would have never given us $1,200 in our account.
You think so?
Because her attitude would have been, screw you, let the people eat cake, like Marie and Antoinette of France. You know, at least Trump's paying the people a juiced up unemployment. He's already given cash back to the American people. That's more than anybody else has done in my lifetime.
That's
How
true.
about those apples?
Right, and since 1985, the United States has provided $3 billion in grants annually to Israel.
As well as other countries.
It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money, exactly.
As
Israel's
well
a
as
very
other
rich
countries
country,
that get $1
folks.
billion
They're not
check
short
from
of
us every
cash.
year.
What was that, Vaughn?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, I just said that Israel's a very rich country. They're not short of cash. And for the American taxpayer to fund them that much money, it's millions per day that get wired over to Tel Aviv. It's a huge, obscene amount of money. And look, I always tell folks, Israel has a right to exist. They're an ally of ours, yada, yada. But it's not MEGA. It's not make Israel great again. It's make America great
Exactly.
again. It's MAGA, not MEGA. So I don't care what country it is, whether it's, again, Spain, France, Japan, Israel, Russia. I don't care. Again, I only look at the color green.
Right.
And to me, it's the only color I love is green. So if I see us giving any country a lot of cash and they've got, like Israel, they're filthy rich, to me, I'm going, why are we doing this?
Right,
Any
right.
of our so-called, we give Germany too much money. We give Japan too much money. And people say, well, why do you always bring up? I go, because these are the most egregious examples of waste in foreign aid. And let me tell you, it all counts. I mean, why not pay the American people $2-3 grand a month? How about that?
Thank you.
Yes.
Paying these
Thank
countries that hate our guts.
Yeah, that money
you.
that has been sent to Israel, wouldn't that be nice if that $3 billion went to the American people?
I've been saying that
Yeah,
for
maybe
years.
we wouldn't have riots over here, huh?
I don't think we
No,
would have
you'd
riots.
still have riots.
Well, yeah, we really don't know if that's exactly what would go down, but yes, that sort of hive mentality probably would present itself in due time. So I don't disagree, Mike.
I think that if we were to pay more attention to taking care of this country and its problems and stop trying to police and not with President Trump, but all the previous presidents, always butting our nose into every country's business. Oh, we got to help them. We got to help them. We got to help them. There's always some sort of interest we have with them that we've got to go in and protect them, but they never protect themselves. I mean, there's got to be a line. President Trump even said it. We're going to eventually have to pull out of Iraq, and they're going to have to learn how to take care of themselves. We can't keep policing every foreign country. It's just not possible.
That's right. And the thing is, people always say, "Oh well, you get your typical senator that says, oh well, the foreign aid is only a small part of our budget." BS. They couch the foreign aid in the military defense budget. It's in the State Department. It's in every federal budget. There's always a huge allotment of cash Now, I realize that we're an empire. We are an empire. They should tell the kids in a grade school like I was at Air Force School, you live in the American empire. We're not like a little country like Iceland. We're not like Finland. This is America, and unfortunately, it is what it is. We're all over the world. We got 300-400 military bases that we know of, and covert ones all over the world. And look, we can do all the nation building over here. We have got to stop spending all this money because our domestic front is suffering huge. We need those billions invested here. Our new roads, pay the American people $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month.
Yep.
You guys got money for everything else. When it ever comes to the American people, we have no money. Sorry.
Yep.
I always it pisses me off. Oh, we have billions for Israel, billions for Japan, billions for Germany. We're going to give money to Putin. We're going to build a new nuclear reactor in China, what have you. All these stupid programs, but my God, there's never any money for this country.
That's what
They always say,
right.
They cry poverty every time.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Where's the money for the American citizen?
That's right. I mean, we are so rich. We have enough money to pay every American $5,000 a month. Can you imagine if you had $5,000 a month? Even $3,000 or $4,000 every month gets hit into your checking account. Man, that would take the edge off stress in this country big time. I'm not saying that people wouldn't take that money and smoke it or blow it. Of course they will. Who cares? My thing though is at least the money is spent inside the country.
Exactly. It helps
foreign aid never comes back here.
It helps the economy if they spend it here. They spend it here.
I would
spend
buy
the money
so
here
many
in
hookers.
this country.
Mike would buy hookers.
Right. Hey, you should always support your local stripper club. I've always said that.
That's
right. I mean, strippers have hearts too.
That's right.
And they have needs.
They're an essential business.
They are.
I agree.
I mean, I just, I would love to have the powers to do all that, because where we're going, it's no wonder we have riots and wars my dad, a military guy, worked, in the U.S. Air Force, knew all the ins and outs of it, was in Saigon HQ. He briefed generals. He was the guy with the pointer showing them the bombing runs in Vietnam.
Right.
Did Operation Blue Book, a little bit of that. He said, look, this country has a war every decade. You got to feed the beast. And he works in that system. So look, it's very obvious that we're gearing up for war here, here, and here, because the military-industrial complex wants constant billions. And again, I'm not against them funneling money. At least that money is in American factories. The problem is when we go into a country and we bomb it or go to war with it, then we're the only idiots in the world, in world history, that want to rebuild countries that we conquer.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yep.
That's
Never
ridiculous.
in world history has any country spent trillions of dollars to rebuild everything.
I'll tell you what, though, Vaughn. I'll tell you this really quickly, Vaughn and Mike. I'm very interested and very fascinated to see what history says about the year 2020. How will history be rewritten? I'm sure it will be. In about 10, 15 years from now, I'm sure this will be written down, and the narrative will paint a very different kind of picture, I'm sure.
Yep. And the top statements will be how we had a racist for president, how the LGBTFKLM, whatever, they all got their rights, and everybody was allowed to marry the same sex, and how BLM became a national organization that supports only certain black lives, not the other black lives. For example, all the people who get shot in Chicago every day, which, by the way, there was a record number of how many people were shot in Chicago. Did you hear their names? They were black. Did you hear their names? Of course you didn't hear their names, because only certain black lives matter. You didn't hear about all the black policemen with families and children and wives and so on and so forth, who were good, upstanding citizens who were shot and killed by criminals. You didn't hear about them. Black Lives Matter didn't do shit for them.
Outrageous, right? I agree. And by the way, Mike,
and if
go
I
ahead,
may
Mike.
just say, Michael,
Jump in there.
if I may just say,
Go ahead.
you know, they've canceled cartoons, they've canceled commercials.
That's right.
Classic movies, so on and so forth, and yet there are still things like BET, Black Entertainment Show, Ebony Magazine, black dating sites strictly for black people, black awards, black this, black that. That's okay. That's not racist. But if you try to do anything where you say, well, this is for, Caucasian, this is an all Caucasian dating site or an all Caucasian website, no, that's racist.
There probably is an all Caucasian website. I think it's farmersmeat.com.
Farmers Meat.
I said the same thing, Mike. Is like this country, they've been trying to fundamentally change it. A lot of our problems are stemmed from the UN. I've said for many years that you got to defund the United Nations, defund the World Health Organization, because they're all about immigration on a massive scale, the UN especially. They should be kicked out of New York, defunded, stop that 500 million that we give them every year to keep that to keep the lights on there in the New York building. But when whites want to organize, when whites want to do, you're racist, you're Nazi, you're this, you're that. Look, it's like words mean nothing to me.
Well, Vaughn, I gotta be honest. I mean, you are German, so I mean, you might be a Nazi. Guten Morgen, by the way, the German listener.
Guten Morgen. Every white person is a Nazi in America, according to mainstream media and according to BLM. Every white person is. Yeah. So the thing is that no matter what you do, they're going to come after you anyway. So just do your own thing and believe what you want, and don't care what these people think, because at the end of the day, they only have power if you give it to them.
Right. Go ahead, Mike.
If you think about it.
I just want to say, what's going to happen as they continue to put their hammer down on our heads. There are going to be people that are going to basically get to the point where they're not going to want to associate with that ethnic race. And you know why? Because they're going to be too frightened, because they'll be whatever they say, if they say something the wrong way, they'll be sued, they'll be beaten up, their windows will be broken, their businesses or houses will be set on fire, their wives and women, daughters will be raped, whatever. The fact is, there are going to be people who are going to become very resentful about what is being done and what is being said for these people who, in my personal opinion, are nothing. They are not a legitimate organization.
That's exactly right. And that's my take on it too, Mike, is that these people are thugs. We have let the thugs literally take over America and take over the microphone, pun intended, in the sense that it's a domination game. And again, if we don't get control of these streets and beat back this Bolshevik mob, and look, bullets are going to need to fly because these people are radicalized. And in my book, if you don't get the fuck back in your house and get off the fucking street, you know what? I tell the police, shoot to kill. Screw them.
Amazing.
Damn right. You shoot to kill. You get them off the street. Stop blocking traffic. Stop shooting at people, or we're going to shoot your ass. How about those apples?
Amazing.
Because this has gotten too far in this country.
It really has.
And it's to the point where I told Trump the other day, and if you cede power, and we have a power vacuum in the streets, don't you dare bitch and moan anybody in Congress or our Senate that would other groups come up to do your job. If you're going to do your job, and if you vacate the building, if you vacate the police precinct, don't get mad when other Americans step up to that plate, because once we step up and our hand is forced, we're not going back.
Amen.
So be very careful what you wish for.
Right.
Because if you don't want that, other people do want that power, and they will take over.
You're
And I'm
right
telling you
about
that
Vaughn.
because people are getting to the boiling point now. They're like, look, we're waiting for you guys, our so-called leaders, to take control of these streets. And we're watching the carnage daily. We're not going to sit here forever. And I
who's the
told them if
victims
they
now?
attack the suburbs, the bullets are going to fly because the suburbs are armed, and those people are not going to sit around waiting for a BLM or Antifa or some DNC thug to torch their house and business.
Right.
Right.
And that's when the real war starts.
Yeah, this is the new cultural civil war and the efforts to usher in the new woke order, as I mentioned in the beginning of the program. A new woke order, for sure. All the things they allegedly stand for, they are guilty of committing. And of course,
Right.
I'm referring to CHOP, as they are going with Capitol Hill organized protest. Kind of amusing seeing the visuals out there, the barricades, the walls of sorts, armed guards. The leader I saw in a video not too long ago that Vaughn was talking about, Ras Simone. He's a hip-hop artist, by the way, and he's on video giving a few assault rifles to, I think, guys probably 17 or 18 years old.
Oh, that's smart.
And they
That's
had
right.
and they had no idea how to hold a gun, nor did Ras Simone even try explaining. He just sort of handed them the gun, and I just thought, great, yeah, give a 17 and 18-year-old an assault rifle, which they never even heard. Angry
people.
Very angry individuals. Yeah, give them a gun. That's going to end well. So again, just to be crystal clear, just to be diaphanously clear, I want to say I'm not the one saying he's the leader, but for some reason reports are stating that he is the leader of that section in Seattle. And again, this message is distorted big time, if you haven't noticed already. And again, I have to say, I advise no one to be fooled by what is going on and what the message is actually supporting. The original message was hijacked, and the original message was nothing about what others have made it become. And of course, the media is not helping, like I said. They painted a completely inaccurate picture to sell the world. And are we going to see,
Michael.
right? Are we going to see,
man.
Vaughn, are we going to see much more intense violence in other cities in America? And that's a question to you, Vaughn, and for you, Mike. Go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, we definitely are. This is the shot across America's bow. This is far, far from over, Michael, and I'm glad you brought that up. These groups, look, no one's asking the Chaz Chop guy, the African warlord, where'd you get the guns? Who bought the guns? Again, I'm following the green. I always follow the money. Who's funding these guys? And these groups, like we saw pallets of bricks, pallets of stones, right, in all these Democrat cities. Somebody had to pay a guy to do that. Find these people. I don't care if you got to put them in a Gestapo dungeon, beat it out of them. You got to get who's funding this stuff, man, because it's millions of dollars that I'm counting up of guns, and it's going to continue and continue because, again, they feel that they have to burn it all down to rebuild the country in their image. And the big problem is while they're doing that, guess what? Our enemies are licking their chops. That is the best time for any country to launch a real overt attack on the United States, Russia, or China. So it really does tangle with national security. Now, if we have people in our government that are supporting this, in my view, that is treason and firing squad.
Right.
Those people should be found out, rooted out, down from State Department, Pentagon, down to frickin' janitor. Get them out of there. And personally, I would tell Trump, start firing some generals. These guys are bucking you when you wanted help. Go in that damn Pentagon. You line them all up. You go, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here.
Love that. I
acquiesce. All
acquiesce.
those Obama appointees, send them packing. Get them out of that Pentagon.
Absolutely.
They've been there for 30, 40
that was
years.
The first thing he should have done
they're lame
when he got into office.
weaklings.
Is get rid of every associate of the Hussein kingdom.
Yeah.
Every one of them should have been booted.
And why haven't they been purged? And that's my bone to pick with Trump. I'd say, why haven't you purged them? You promised us you were going to purge them. So either someone got to you, or you lost your steam, or you lost your grip now. I don't care what it is. You're the frickin' president. You do your job, because if you don't do it, it's going to blow up in our face. And I don't think you want us out there in the streets. I really don't think you want our methods, man. I don't really think you want that.
Vaughn, you know what's happening here. What's happening here is we've got a tough president. Don't think twice about that. We have a man who gets bombarded every single day since the beginning of his candidacy as running for president. He has been bombarded and poked fun at and ridiculed and I go on. The point is, he is under such scrutiny and pressure. He's trying to do the right thing, and in many times he's defied what a lot of the public has been against him for. And so he tries to do the right thing to appease people. He has done more, as you know, than every president since Ronald Reagan.
Oh no,
okay?
I definitely support Trump. I am just saying that I do realize the intense pressure people, and again, I'm not a single issue voter. I support Trump, and my point is, I understand the game he has to play, but my point to him is, Mr. President, you got to do what you got to do until you win this damn election. After the election, if the gloves don't come off then, you got 4 years to do it. You know what? You are then a lame duck. There's no more elections, no more excuses. And to hell with the press. I mean, personally, if you find journalists that are leaking documents or trying to, besmirch the nation, arrest them. They call you a tyrant anyway. So you know what? Let's put their money where their mouth is. Let's actually be a tyrant to them. How about those apples? Let's actually do that. Let's have proof in advertising. Why don't we do it like that? They're going to call you that anyway. So my thing is, if all these leaks, constant leaks, purge the White House, purge the Pentagon, and you tell those media guys, if you're purging classified information, arrest their ass.
As much as I agree with you.
It's time for action is what I'm saying. Once that election's over, I want to see the gloves come off, baby. I want to see Trump in the ring like Rocky Balboa kicking everyone's ass.
Amazing. Go ahead, Mike.
Vaughn, I agree with you on all of what you said. Having a tough president, there's nothing more I enjoy than seeing a president with a set on him, okay?
Right.
Reagan was the last man we had in office who acted like a man.
Yeah, isn't that kind of funny, Mike?
Right.
I mean, everybody was making a big issue about the president grabbing pussy. I always thought, well, I'd rather my president grab pussy than be a pussy.
That's right. Like Obama was.
Exactly.
Obama was a complete pushover. He was a jellyfish. So what I'm trying to say is, as much as I agree with you on having a strong president, and I totally and thoroughly back that up, there are, as you probably well know, as a president of the United States, there are certain stipulations that one must abide by in order to maintain decency as a world figure. Let's face it, president of the United States is like,
that's true.
That's like being president of the world, so to speak. There's a certain decor. So I kind of get that, but make no mistake, Trump, he may not be, and this is the reason why he won the election. He's not a politician, but he's a smart man. And he's been able to get through all of the rhetoric and the nonsense that the Dem liberal PC people have put on his plate. And at the same time, he's had to deal with every world problem. The Russians, the Chinese, everybody, the ISIS. Look what he did to ISIS. He wiped them out. They're gone. They're history.
That's right.
What did Hussein do? Nothing.
He's done a lot of wonderful things. He never gets the credit for it. I totally agree, Mike. I realize he's on it's a high wire act a tightrope act, and he's really good at keeping and deflecting a lot of the crap off his desk. I'm all for that. And again, you're right. Being a world leader, you've got to have that sense of decorum. All I'm saying is, there will always be a level of animosity to any president. That's acceptable. Everyone agrees with that. But when we have actual treasonous, seditious people inside the government that I hear a lot of stories, they're not implementing his plans. They're not implementing his laws. Generals are bragging that they're not going to follow his orders. I would literally march in the Pentagon if it was me. I'd line up every frickin' general down to captain, and I'd have a list. I'd do a big public purge. You're fired. You're fired. And I would tell the media, here's the reason why. We told this general on this date to do this. He failed. He's fired. In the military, you take orders. And if you don't like those orders, then you be a man, and you man up, and you resign. Right. But they want to stay and get their pension, get all the benefits, rack up more pension. I know they're a monkey game. I get it. But my thing is, enough of that crap. We've got some real problems here, and we've got China and Russia knocking down our door. The wolf is at the door, and the chair's against the wall, right? So I'm sorry, enough pussyfooting around.
Right.
When Trump wins, it's time to crack some skulls, man.
The president has
serious.
The president has his hands full on this one, for sure. I also must say, keep in mind, the whole world is watching, just like you said earlier in that rant there of you are completely correct. The whole world is watching. You don't think there aren't people planning to take advantage of what's going on, create further chaos? This is a good time to pack some heat, just in case you experience a radical uprising in a city near you. The progressive Democrats love this so much. They favor this sort of behavior. I believe in the right to protest and assemble, but this goes way beyond that, of course. And again, this is a perfect storm for those out there who want to take advantage of this. Don't you think that China is not watching? I mean, I read a report that China was plotting a Pearl Harbor-style surprise EMP attack on the U.S., and that's something I've been talking about on this program for months pre-COVID. The fact that an EMP attack would just completely fuck us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't even realize that, boys and girls. If there was a EMP attack, that EMP attack would just completely destroy most of America really quickly. Those out there would just lose it completely. Not like we've seen, like with Hurricane Katrina, where we saw these people looting. I mean, if we lost the power, we would be fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
That's right. And Michael, I think China's funding secretly a lot of these protests and riots as payback for Hong Kong. They're still mad at finding, supposedly, and I'm sure they probably did, CIA agents in Hong Kong, and this is payback. And I have friends that are in China that are businessmen that tell me on the official Chinese news, they're smirking and they're saying that the Chinese government is giving America 100 Hong Kongs, and they're saying it like they have planned it, they have funded it. It's pretty out in the open there in the Chinese media.
Yeah. Do you doubt
I got a friend
that?
in Beijing and a friend in Shanghai.
How could you not doubt that? I mean,
right.
Look, China is a serious adversary. There's no doubt about it. I fear them more than I fear the Russians. But
yeah,
let's not kid
point
ourselves.
There. Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves. They are a force to be reckoned with, okay? As we've given them everything for the last 60, 70 years and let them just walk all over us. And who do we have to blame for that? Ourselves. Our own idiots in politics.
And by the way, Mike, and Michael, I was at a couple of gun stores yesterday. Just anecdotal information. China, like Insidious was saying, is a big topic of conversation in Russia. And it's not that so much, it's like a Red Dawn America thing, that's part of it. People are generally concerned, and I mentioned to them there's many threats made against them, and more every day, where you have BLM and Antifa that are funded, I believe, by the DNC and by a lot of rogue governments around the world. They're all watching this, looking at their shots, because China has been moving in millions of people to California and the West Coast and Seattle for years. They're getting their people in position. They're buying up a lot of the motels and hotels there on the left coast. And there's been rumors for years, again, about Chinese troops being trained in Mexico, or at least stationed there. And it's hard to believe, but I keep getting persistent field reports about this. And I used to scoff it off like most people. Oh, it's impossible. There's no way it would be, But again, I got a couple more reports from one was a friend of a friend of a friend that was down there on vacation, and said they saw China. They weren't Mexican. They were Chinese, wearing uniforms, doing maneuvers on a beach. Now, that's weird, okay? But again, this is the kind of news that you only find in the alternative media. And getting back to the gun store briefly, those people were like, hey, man, we're arming up. Guns are flying off the shelves. The gun store owner, who might advertise on my show, that's out there in the East Valley, he said, man, the gun sales have gone up. They're barely keeping up. I looked at what was available. He sold 75% of his stock. So Americans were armed up before, but now they're really cranking it up as they need to. They don't know what is coming down the pike, whether it's BLM, Antifa, Red Dawn America, UN armies, zombie apocalypse. They don't know, man, but they're like, you know what? We're getting ready. Myself, I have updated my arsenal. I've tripled my food stores.
Nice.
I've tripled my fresh water stores. 2 SUVs are always ready. Wish they were armor plated, but they're not. But I've got a lot of gear and things that I could use in case of an EMP attack or what have you. But yeah, it's brewing out there, man. I mean, the suburbs of America are wide awake. Let me tell you, wide awake.
Yes, sir. And of course, switching gears momentarily here as we come to a close, I wanted to ask you about your show. You have been getting back into the groove of things, and I was there not long ago. I've been appearing on a couple of shows lately, and I don't exactly get on too many shows at all, by the way. But Vaughn, you have a great show. Tell the listeners about your show.
Yeah, I want to have both you and Mike Hideous on my show again very, very soon. It's the Von Wehunt Show. We're on Blog Talk Radio every Thursday night. It's a 2-hour show from 8 to 10 p.m. Arizona Mountain Standard Time. I broadcast the show along these same similar topics about geopolitics, current events, breaking news, history. World War II will go into all the current events, etc. But it's a great show. We have about 4 or 5 callers. We had 2 callers last week from LA, which I'll tell you about that story later. They were
nice,
pretty funny, actually. But it's a nationwide call. We're getting like 75,000, 80,000 listens a week. And once I upload these shows to Dark Sky Radio alone, and my proud sponsor is Wolf Productions. They do celebrity impersonations and they host corporate and charity events. But then from there, I put the shows, Michael, on Podomatic and Twitter and Facebook, and we are rocking and rolling. And I want to have you on again and get Mike Hideous on as well. Be great.
Yeah, no doubt. We would
I'd be honored.
Yeah, we would love to do that for sure. And I try to remain exclusive and mysterious to varying degrees. It helps with street cred, as you know, Vaughn. So, I'm extremely selective. I've been turning a lot of other shows down as well. So, of course, that translates to burning bridges, of course, which I have no problem doing. Sometimes you've got to step on a few toes, and I'm ready to go through the entire world to get what I want, Vaughn. You know that.
I do.
And for the record, I'm a publicist whore, so you can have me on anytime you want.
Very nice.
Awesome. Very good.
Very nice.
Thank you, Hideous. We'll definitely collaborate there.
Oh, yes. And by the way, before I let you go, a few shows back, and this is now, since now we are very much at the tail end of the interview or discussion here, a few shows back, I had told Mike about Howard Stern and how the woke crowd was coming after him in a attempt to cancel his show on Sirius XM for a bit that he did about 25 years ago or so. Something outrageous like that. And this was something I thought wasn't exactly that funny, but it happened, a long time ago when things were completely different. And there weren't any sort of restrictions on what you can or cannot say. And of course, Howard's shtick back then was all about being shocking and being over the top. And I definitely don't think he's a racist, in my opinion. I will say I am disappointed with his new and current show. His staff is what is currently keeping the Howard Stern show going. It's what's keeping things together for him for the most part. And even that is sort of wearing thin now in 2020. And I haven't listened regularly in many, many moons. The occasional clip will make its way on my radar on YouTube. And this is also another thing. Sirius, I'm not sure if Sirius is actually going to punish Howard for anything he did. And of course, the new development in the story is now that heat was brought onto him. And I knew this was going to go down. He had to make an apology, by the way, Mike and Vaughn. So he felt the heat. Yeah, he felt the heat, so he had to make an apology.
Knew it.
And again, Mike, and again, Vaughn and Mike, the bit, keep in mind, from 1993. And of course, it is the dreaded blackface bit. But of course, he said he has evolved and changed. Even he admits the stuff he was doing back then was insane. But again, the man, I don't think he should have apologized, in my opinion. That shit's in the past.
How come nobody gets on and talks about Jimmy Kimmel and all the things he did when he was on the Man Show?
Some people have made light in that, no doubt, Mike, for sure. He did do the dreaded blackface when he was doing Karl Malone, correct?
I'm Karl Malone.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. But my
Michael,
point is,
I am with you, man.
He sits there and he rips apart the president left and right, and like he's never done anything outrageous when he was on that show.
Sure.
So they're all effing hypocrites.
They're all hypocrites,
every single
right.
one of them.
I agree, and I knew they were going to go after him, especially since Stern was interviewing all the politicians out there, and of course Hillary, which was outrageous in my opinion.
On his show?
And
yeah,
Michael, if anybody is like taking a knee or if they're apologizing, they're a freaking moron. Seriously.
Idiots.
Because you're apologizing to punks, to thugs, people that hate your guts. And you know what? It's like you said, you can't control the past. What's done is done. For Stern to do that, I get he's a big media guy. His publicist or somebody, his manager said, you got to apologize. But I wouldn't have done it. Screw him.
Nope.
I wouldn't have
said,
done it
look, I got paid for that. It was funny. And the problem with this country, what Stern should have done, and he should have manned up. I would have got in front of the cameras and said, we have a nation full of people now that are weak and that get offended at everything. They're going back into our history. We have a cultural revolution on the streets, and they're going to nitpick everything going back 50 years. That's BS.
50 years, try 200,
Enough.
try 400 years.
Amazing.
Right. Stop it. Every country's had frickin' slavery, and it's still going on today in Africa.
That's right.
That's right.
Africans are still being sold by their African kings like they were in the 1500s. Nothing's changed.
How come they all talk about slavery? And I heard some friggin' moron go on I forget who the heck was it? I want to say the governor of New York.
Cuomo.
What's his name? Cuomo. I think it was him, but don't quote me on this. Somebody got on and was making a comment that America was the one who invented slavery, never taking into consideration how far back slavery went when the blacks. Let's get this perfectly clear. The black tribes people were sold into slavery by their own chief of the tribes.
That's right. That's right. And see, Michael, guys, no one's got the balls and the cojones to tell these idiots You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know history. You are uneducated street moron slash thug slash idiot. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
You don't
Right.
know what
Now-
you're
now-
talking about, and no one. You have to talk to them in that language for them to get it,
Understand.
because
That's right.
otherwise they don't get it.
Vaughn,
And all these other politicians have been talking this flowery language, which doesn't work on these morons. Telling you.
No. Vaughn, this is exactly what my bumper sticker says on my car. Annoy a liberal today. Use facts and logic. There you go.
Yes, love it. Love it. See,
A guy went into one of the protest march for BLM, and he walked up to some of the people and he said, a British guy, by the way, started saying to them, "Did you know that more statistics prove that more white people are shot by black cops than black cops, or than black people being shot by white cops?" And do you know what they were saying? "Oh man, get the F out of here. Get out of here, get out of my face with that
Right.
shit." That's what they were saying. They don't want to hear facts. It's all based on emotion. That's what liberalism and PC is like today. It has nothing to do with logic. It's all
That's
about
right.
emotion.
It's all about emotionalism. They are the Democrat Party is the emotional party, and the Republicans aren't much better. But the nationalists, which I am, independent nationalists, we are rational. We're for the nation first. We're for the people first. I don't give a flying F about any other country. I'm aware of them, but our needs come first, not
Right.
theirs. So
Amen.
screw them.
I agree.
And so the Republicans now are what the Democrats were 30 years ago. Fox News is what CNN was 30 years ago. They've all been watered down because they're all look. This idea of bipartisan thing is a bunch of BS. This country was founded on harsh debate, on dissenting opinions. We didn't have it was never ruled by consensus, because only a small minority of the settlers and the pioneers wanted to go to war with Great Britain. That's a fact. About 25% max by any historical standard, and I've read a lot of the historians, 75-80%, like today, of the people go with the flow. And that's the way it's always been throughout history. They're not the doers. They follow the leader. They follow the crowd. Had those guys not fought against Britain, they would have followed the king, and we would still be a British colony today.
Absolutely. And Vaughn,
So-
go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish your thought.
I was just saying that is what Hideous was saying is true. It's like, it's the doers in history that make history. The people that take action, the people that just talk a big game. To me, they're worthless.
Absolutely. Yeah, I acquiesce. You made many fine points, and of course, throughout the night, you made many fine points. And in closing here, I will say it has nothing to do with race. There's nothing racist going on here. That is a pipe dream delivered to you by the left. What it really comes down to goes back to the individual and the fact that a lot of Americans out there lack common sense and lack moral values, and that's exactly what we're seeing today. It always goes back to the lack of moral character.
Mm-hmm.
Something that isn't really preached about in the media there for whatever reason, but the lack of common sense, that's always what it is. And it's quite sad and ironic. But Vaughn, once again, thank you so much for being a part of the program. Had a great time with you here, Vaughn.
Hey, same here, Michael Decon. Fantastic show. Love your show. Everyone should watch it every week. And awesome talking to Mike Hideous, too. We'll have you on the Vaughn Weekend show here very, very soon, guys. And love the show. Thanks, Michael.
You got it, Vaughn. Take care, and we will talk soon.
Vaughn.
You know it. Thanks, guys.
Mahalo.
And the great audience, too.
Oh, they love you.
Love it, man. Appreciate
Take care. And there he goes, the one and only Vaughn Wehunt of the Vaughn Wehunt show. I almost said the Vaughn Wehunt program again. I call everything a program now, Mike.
I know.
I have a habit of doing that.
I've started to do the same thing, Michael.
Isn't that funny? Instead of saying show, we just say program.
Yeah, I've become very used to it by now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Everything has been pretty wild, right?
Oh my gosh, it's driving me nuts, man. The stupidity of these people. I think it was a football player who joined one of the BLM protests, had a sign that said, "No lives matter until Black lives matter."
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Now, if that is not a racist comment, I don't know what is.
That's the sound, Mike.
What's that sound?
That's the sound from The Purge, the movie.
Oh, I never saw that.
You haven't seen The Purge?
No, is it a horror movie?
Well, it's a good film.
What is it? What kind of movie?
Well, I mean, you could see it on the news. That's kind of what's going on right now.
Okay. Oh, The Purge. I remember. Everybody goes on the street. They go on a rampage, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, I remember it now. I remember it.
Good
I didn't
Lord.
see it.
Well, you need to now.
Yeah. All I got to do is turn on the television.
Well, basically, you just need to see the riots, and it's right there in front of your face. Eventually, we will get to that point, I think. Sadly, Mike.
Yep.
Well, Mike, we are left with round 2 coming up here.
Right, brother.
Are you ready for that?
I guess so.
Yes, so you'll be able to make it through.
I guess I'll make it. I guess I'll hang around. I don't know.
Amazing.
I got nothing better to do.
That's true. Well, Mike, I think it's that time to go to the bathroom or go to the fridge, whatever you need to do. It's that time.
I'm gonna feed my snake.
Feed the snake. Well, Mike, hang tight, and I'll talk to you in a moment here.
5 minutes, buddy. I'll see you in a bit. Okay?
You got it.
All right.
And there he goes. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Have you thought of breaking through? Ain't it part of what you do? Catch a victim while he's dumb. Break his larynx with your time. And it's time to get high. Well, this ain't no goddamn dream. It's exactly what it seems. Wake up today just to lay back down and say, I won't be coming back. Let's call it a heart attack. Give me some of that knack. This is just a final payback. They all flipped on me, took my passions, left me be. When I had a place to sit, a goddamn attitude to fit. Talk real smooth, knew where to spit. But things have changed and I've quit. Got nothing to look forward to but a backlash full of lies. You're too late for where you're going. This is fate, the whistle's blowing. It's much too late. It's all too late. You're much too late. Like a piss hole punk with his nose turned up and a fragrance all your own. Tell me what it's like to be alone. And let's not forget the Scarface prick who offers fix to your face. He dropped out of the subhuman race. That's sad. Boo-hoo-hoo. But I'm goddamn glad that piece of shit was just a fad. Tell me, boy, where were you? What's your story? I mean, really. Where have you been? Was it the big time and full of sin? Tell me They're chasing dragons down the hall. So now I find you just the same, a generation full of games. I hear the whispers, I see traps to break my legs. Where are you going, boy? Where have you been? You're too late for where you're going. This is fate, the whistle's blowing. It's much too late. It's much too late. You're much too late. You're much too late. You're much too late. Tell me, where are you going? Where have you been?
And welcome back, boys and girls. Here we are again on a night like this. Welcome back to round 2. And I believe my co-host is patiently waiting. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
Mr. Decon.
What's going on?
I'm just eating an EL fudge cookie.
What's that?
It's the Keebler fudge makers, the Keebler cookie makers who make the like fudge stripes and EL fudge cookies.
Oh, okay, I see. How delightful. Well, Mike, I have to be honest. There was a bit of an accident here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, there was a party foul. The beer that I opened was frozen. So, as you know, when I opened it, it wasn't quite pleasant after all.
I'll bet.
Yeah, it sucked.
Did it explode?
It sure did. So now I'm like drinking an icicle here.
A beer icicle.
A beer icicle. I feel like throwing this beer against the wall now.
Throw it onto the book that you tore apart.
You want to tear some pages again? Is that what you're telling me?
From Mr. Valentine.
You want me to rip some pages here?
Some pages to rip? Go ahead.
I got some pages here if you want me to rip them. That's up to you.
Like Nancy Pelosi.
I know, right? Well, actually, you know what? Let me rip one or two pages for you, Mike, in your honor.
Go ahead.
You ready for this?
I'm ready, buddy.
All right, buddy. I'm just gonna rip a few pages from this guy's book here. Gary, by the way. Yeah, just rip this up. Get rid of it. Gone.
Is that the section about this author?
That's the about me, and that's the ending of his book too. I'm ripping that up. Terrible. Get that out of the way.
All right. Now pour some beer on it.
I know, that's next. So, Mike, I'm glad you're here. It's been an interesting time. I like the conversation we were having with Vaughn.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I got a little carried away, but...
What do you mean?
Tell you, well, I was trying my best. I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but at the same time, I wanted to get these points across.
That's all right.
It's irritating. It really is.
That's okay. Well, that's why you're here, Mike, to talk about these things.
I appreciate that.
You're here to jump in. It's fine.
Thank you.
It's always fine. And by the way, we have some just startling news, Mike, as we start the second half off here.
Okay.
Oh yes, and I'm not sure if you remember this, but there was once this TV show called The 70s Show.
Yep.
And it was a decent show for the time, back in 98 to about 2006. That's when it ended, Mike.
Right. It was a fun show.
It was. And Mike, well, there was an actor on that show that, well, he wasn't the main character, but he got some shine from his role. His name was Danny Masterson.
Is that the father?
No, he's the character that played Stephen Hyde. He's the one with the afro.
Okay, yeah, what about him?
You remember that guy now?
I sure do. He wore the sunglasses.
That's him. Well, Danny Masterson, that's the guy's name. He has been charged with raping 3 women.
Whoa.
Los Angeles police started investigating Masterson in 2007 for 3 separate incidents in the early 2000s, however.
Wow.
So, Mike, it turns out he's also a Scientologist.
Oh, well, there you go.
Good Lord.
Wow, I'm shocked, but you know what? I'm not. I mean, we had Bill Cosby.
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that.
It's just, these are just unbelievable times we're living in.
It really is. It really is. It's pretty nuts. So he was booked recently.
Wow.
His bail was set like $3.3 million, if I recall.
Wow.
So
by the way,
right.
I got to write something down. I don't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
You finish saying what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Well, he was charged with 3 counts of rape by force or fear in a couple of incidents, I guess, according to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. So this guy
Wow.
was at it back in 2001 and again in 2003. And of course, all of these alleged assaults took place in Matterson's Hollywood Hills home.
Oh,
So,
wow.
well, that makes me bring up this point. Those women that went to his house, did they willingly go to his house? Were they forced to go to his house? Did they have any sexual intentions on their mind? That's where things get tricky.
Right. And you know what? Ultimately, I guess we're going to have to wait for the court and the evidence and all that to come out, because we can't assume anything until we know the full story. I don't know where you read
Right.
this. I'm assuming on the internet.
On the internet. And the other cider saying he bailed out. So, yeah, the guy definitely has money and has plenty of connections. So, obviously,
Yeah.
he sold them the dream, and they were all smiles then.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so again, was there a point where they wanted said dream, then they backed out, but it was too late for a horned up Masterson? It's definitely not beyond the realm of possibility there, Mike.
It's not.
So this shit is quite tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. You
It's
know
tricky,
what?
man.
I mean, with all due respect to both men and women,
Right.
rape is a very complicated accusation and or what's the word I'm looking for? Going to prison for. Or I should say, being accused of.
An allegation, right.
It's both. It's on both sides. It's a very tricky situation.
It's some
Let's face
crazy
it.
shit.
Sex is, it's part of who we are, and if we're not, if we don't act civil in some cases, this is what is the result.
Very true. Like Harvey Weinstein, was he a douchebag? Most likely. Most likely, did those women have intentions of becoming larger than life?
Though,
Sure.
First of all, after having watched that program about Mr. Epstein, this guy's a billionaire. You and I have talked about this. He was a billionaire. He had what we believe to be was secrets on high profile people in politics as well as Hollywood, and ultimately those girls that he got, I'm assuming the majority, if not all of them, were underage girls who he basically got from high school, offered them anywhere between $300 and $500 to come to his house and give them an amateur massage.
He sold them the dream, Mike. That's my point.
Right, and
he sold them the dream. Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. And so the question becomes, like, did they know what they were getting into?
How did they know? That's the
really,
question.
Or was it really, forcible?
Exactly. So in the case of Harvey Weinstein, the question still remains. Most likely, did those women have intentions of becoming these larger-than-life characters? The probability is likely, and so is taking advantage of these other women. It's a double-edged sword, no doubt, and I'm sure he definitely took advantage of his position more times than once.
Of course, a lot of rich people do.
Right.
I mean, look, let's be honest. Even President Trump, I hate when people say stuff like, well, President Trump is a billionaire, so he acts like a jerk. Hey, man, when you get $1 billion, tell me how you act.
Oh, good point. I haven't had that, but I'm sure I'd be acting a little obtuse.
I tell you, I wouldn't be on this show.
I probably wouldn't either, man. I probably wouldn't do it either. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, you get money.
Shit changes.
There's a show on Netflix I just watched about Donald Trump, on how he came to be one of the most successful construction people in the world.
Right.
And you see the guy, learning from his father. He was brought up in the family, but he took it to one step further by being the outrageous, outgoing man that he was. Didn't take shit from anybody, and was always never willing to back down from a fight.
Yeah, that sums up Trump right there.
Yep. So when I hear people say, "Well, he's an obnoxious asshole," I'm like, he's a billionaire. The
Aren't
guy
they all
doesn't
though?
even take a paycheck.
Aren't they all acting kind of like that?
Well, I suppose.
I would
mean,
have to assume
the
they
guy
kind of
doesn't even,
are. I think that's just how they are.
quite possibly.
Yeah. But I do admire his moxie, his perseverance.
No doubt.
Yeah, he has that philosophy of he will go through the entire world if he has to, and that's the same mentality I have.
And a man like that can do it because he has access to great, vast amounts of money that can get him any place in the world. People like you and I, were limited due to our income and our inability to have such great wealth that we could do absolutely anything.
Right.
But a billionaire can go anywhere, do anything, and pay off anybody that they want in order to do certain things.
Yeah, so Mike, there's multiple sides to every story. I definitely think he's guilty of what he's been accused of. However, just think of all the other celebrities who have not come out. Think about all the other celebrities who have done worse.
Yeah. Look, remember Beretta, who shot his wife?
I was trying not to remember that.
That happened I think it happened in Hollywood, didn't it?
I think so. And Mike, you have never been Me Too'd or anything like that, right? Like no one's ever tried to get you in trouble in the past about something you said or did in regards to a female?
Not officially in court.
But not in court, okay. Good.
I've had a couple women that have made accusations. A couple have made accusations against me on certain topics, from being abusive to having incest with my own nieces.
Damn, you're going biblical on me there.
Yeah, that's what they accuse me of. As well as I better not. I better keep my mouth shut.
Well, that's all right, man. That's all right, man. I'll share with you. I'll tell you a funny story. People have tried to do that to me.
People or women?
Men.
Okay.
People have tried to do that to me already, plenty of times, going back to 2016. Someone that that I won't mention their names here, but they sent a clip of me talking about sex, taken completely out of context. And it was basically an attempt to derail a radio appearance of mine.
Really?
It's happened more than once, yeah. People try to do that to me. It's quite amazing, but it never works. It never works. It only intrigues the other person that gets said message. So it's like, go ahead. It seems like the more outrageous I am, the better I come across and the worse you look. So go ahead and try to derail me. It's fine.
Well,
I don't mind.
It's funny you bring how you bring that up about being outrageous. The thing is that you just saw what happened to Stern. Stern has always been outrageous since the first time I listened to him in 1985 when I used to pump gas at a gas station.
The thing is, I'm already canceled, so nothing they can do is going to hurt me. We're already down here.
What I'm getting at is, we've seen what's now happened to so many people, and it's not so much. It's coming down to a point of ethics where it's all about racism, feminism, and Islamophobia, pretty much in a nutshell.
Right.
And I guess homosexuality, like homophobia. So you can't But if anybody makes a joke about Christianity or Judaism or Caucasians, that's simply okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But yes, people have gone out of their way, Mike, to contact people they think that are very close to me in a effort to damage my reputation. And you have to be a complete piece of shit to do that, and I certainly hope they get what's coming to them, because the universe has its ways when it comes to dealing with human garbage.
Look at the world we've now begun to live in,
Yeah, people get their comeuppance. That's just the way the universe works. Karma seems to be very real these days.
I think a lot of it has to do with, as you said before, the whole Me Too um, movement, where they hear one thing on the internet and all of a sudden they want to cash
They
in.
want to go and
Because
right.
I can't tell you how many girls I've dated that have told me they've been molested by their boyfriends. I'm like, so many have told me, well, I was molested. Well, what is molestation to you? Well, he touched me inappropriately. Like where? Like, were you dating him at the time? Yes. Well, then how did he touch you inappropriately if you guys were dating, if you were an item? How is that? I had a girl tell me her husband tried to kill her. I said, what did he do? Well, he choked me. Okay, well then why are you still living with him?
Right. I got to be honest with you, Mike. A lot of women that I've dated, a lot of them are into choking.
Oh, shit.
A lot of women want that, and it's insane. I even recall having a conversation with another woman that I was seeing who had like a rape fantasy. I'm not even shitting you. I just thought,
Dude,
okay, you're nuts. I thought, I got to get away from this one.
you just took the words right out of my mouth. I didn't want to say it on the air, but I have had.
I'm telling you, this bitch told me that, and I thought, holy fuck.
Yes,
Something is wrong with
and
you.
that's the thing where I'm getting at. I dated like 4 or 5 girls that were into this rape fantasy.
They have like a
and
rape fantasy. I'm not even shitting you. I thought, sure, I'll choke you, no problem, but I'm not going to fucking rape you. That's
Right.
just weird. I'm not into that.
I was dumbfounded.
I don't know. Some women are insane.
I don't even know. Like, I didn't even know how to like respond to something like that. I'm like, oh, whoa. I mean,
That's a little far out there, right?
That was a little too close to, well, not to home.
Hey, look, man, I'm not a conservative. I'm not some pussy. I'm not some bitch. I'm fucking like a champ out here, but, I'm not going to be doing that.
Got to be careful.
That's
man.
not my,
Gotta be careful.
I'm not with that. That's
It's
a little
like you
much,
can't trust
man.
anybody, Michael.
That too, you can't trust no one.
Yeah.
That's right. And caller, go ahead. What's going on?
The amazing Dr. Decon and the incredible Mike Hideous. How are you, gentlemen?
What's up, brother? How's it going out there?
Just enjoying listening to you guys go back and forth. And Mr. Vaughn, I'm sorry, can't remember how to pronounce his last name.
Wehunt.
Wehunt.
Now, is Vaughn his first name, or is that all one name? Or how does that
Vaughn,
work?
yeah, Vaughn is his first name, and Wehunt is his last.
I'm just going to call him Vaughn.
Yeah, go ahead. Vaughn is fine.
I haven't got a chance to hear his show yet, but he's from the state of Arizona. Arizona's interesting.
Yeah, he's in Arizona.
Have you had a chance to visit Arizona much, Mike?
I've been there I've been there a few times. I'm not sure if Mike has been there a number of times, but yeah. Arizona is close to my location out here in El Centro. I don't live very far away from Yuma, Arizona, about an hour away. So yeah, I'm quite familiar with Arizona. Love the people of Arizona very much. Always had a great time there. And I hope I go back sometime soon when everything is less chaotic.
And Bill Gates is building a utopian community out there. Did you know that? You can Google it. I know it sounds funny, but Google it. It's true. They've got the work. They got some land out there for next to nothing out there, and they're good. I think it's called Goodyear, Arizona. Not too far from Phoenix.
Ah, okay. Wow.
Kind of in the wastelands of Phoenix.
Ah, love that. And by the way, I'm seeing the 805 in the area code here, and that's actually the beer I'm drinking now.
That's a good beer, by the way.
Except that it's frozen. It's like a icy.
A beersicle.
It's a beersicle, right?
I like beersicles because then you don't slam it. You just kind of sip on it. And then by the time you get down close to the end, it's still ice cold.
This shit is pretty cold, no doubt.
So, hey, I wanted to ask you now, have you had Jordan? I think you have had Jordan Maxwell on your show. Is that correct or not?
No, I haven't had Jordan Maxwell on in a number of years, but I did eat dinner with him several years. And I only wish I had recorded that conversation. Yeah, I had a private sort of lunch with the man many moons ago at a conference.
Did you happen to retain his phone number? Because he would be the guy. I would give you $100 patron donation if you can get him on your show.
Well, he's a busy guy.
No, he's not. He's living up there in Flagstaff.
He's not a busy guy?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's 80 years old. He's up. I'll tell you why I know this.
I thought he was.
The story.
I thought he was making the rounds all over the place, doing interviews.
No, he's living in with a family up there, and no, he's chilling.
Really?
So check this out.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, in February, I went to Laughlin, Nevada, to the UFO MegaCon, and he was a speaker there. And I'd listened to Jordan on radio shows. I actually have been part of the interviews that he's been on, and he's quite an interview. But anyway, his talk was about I'm just going to call it the coming apocalypse, kind of what we're going through right now.
Right.
And Clifford Mahooty. Have you heard of Clifford Mahooty?
Unfortunately, I have.
Hootie.
Yeah. Did you say unfortunately?
I sure did.
You're not down with Clifford Mahooty?
It's not that I'm not down with him. I just think it's more amusing when I say it that way.
Hootie.
It's funnier for the listener.
That's what makes you the great Michael Deacon.
Well,
anyway,
yeah, just because I insult someone doesn't mean I hate them. It just means I'm trying to be funny.
I love it. Yeah, I forgot your humor is very good, but sometimes you what I like about you is you keep me guessing, and not too many people have that skill.
Well, that's what
me
I do.
Too, caller. He keeps me guessing too.
That's what I do every show and every appearance I do.
I love it.
Yeah, I do that on purpose, but I'm glad you picked up on my antics.
Yes, your antics are fantastic. So check it out. So the reason why I brought up Mahooty is he's a friend of mine. We were hanging out up there, and after Jordan Maxwell's talk, and again, this was February, which was before the shit hit the fan, so to speak.
Pre-COVID, right?
We actually sat down and had breakfast, the three of us, and Maxwell told us that he told us everything that was going to happen. And I'm thinking to myself, as he's telling me all these things, and Clifford, how does he know these things?
Right.
And he didn't divulge his sources, but he was very adamant that he was describing everything that's happened so far. He described it in February, and then what he also said, he says it's going to get worse in September and October.
Yes, because we're closer to the election.
That too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and things are getting out of hand, as you know.
Oh God, yeah, it's not. And I don't mean to be the messenger of doom, but I don't think it's going to get better, brother.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's only going to get worse.
Right.
Yes.
And God help us all, because when Trump does win, there will be holy hell from the left.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a rightist, that's for sure. And I'm when it comes to Trump, I know a lot of things about Trump based on my own personal research. He's no angel, let's just put it that way. But he does talk. Yeah, he does talk the talk, though. I mean, he's got people fired up, and it does appear that he's doing some positive things. I'm not going to doubt that. I'm not trying to dog Trump. But if somehow the Dems, the Democrats figure out a way to pull the rug out from Trump, kind of like Trump did to Hillary, and they could slide Biden in there, oh, we are fucked.
Imagine that. I can't imagine if Joe Biden would be the president. That's insane.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you, I am. This is absolutely one of the most important elections of our lifetime.
Yeah,
that's coming, more so than the last one. And the thing with President Trump is, let me make it perfectly clear. You got to remember. What was your name again, caller?
Eric.
Yeah, I was going to say this is Eric, by the way.
Eric, you got to remember one thing about our president. He was never a politician. And that means he had a life like you or me. Probably, most definitely more extravagant. But, bathing in champagne, that sort of thing. We don't have access to that. But let me tell you, I've done things myself that I'm not proud of. I've done them. I was a rock star for 20, 30 years. And I've done them.
Yeah, Mike
But
killed the guy, by the way. That's a joke,
No.
by the way. That's not true.
I didn't know you were a rock star, Mike. Now you just kind of moved up a notch in my on my book there. Were you a rock? Were you were you part of a band that I would know of, or you just were rocking?
I don't know. What kind of music do you like?
I've listened to it all, bro. I mean, I'm down with the AC/DC. I'm down with. I wasn't into the glam rock. I hope you weren't a skinny white glam rocker.
You don't like Poison?
No. Never went to glam rock. But I'm sure you've heard of a band called the Misfits.
Yes.
Yeah, I sang for them in 1998.
Sweet. So yeah, when you guys finally decide to throw me off this call, I'm going to get on YouTube and listen. Sweet.
Look up Mike Hideous Misfits 1998, and you'll see a bunch of stuff. In fact, you can even see some stuff on my Facebook page. I've got some videos posted. All that aside, though, what I was getting at is the fact of the matter is, we've all done things. We've all done things. And since President Trump, before he was president, wasn't involved in politics, the guy was a billionaire. Hey, man, you do what you want. It's
I get it.
It's the stipulation of politics who are politicians all their life, like Biden,
correct,
and the socialist Bernie and Pelosi.
Yeah.
These people have been in politics for 30, 40, sometimes even 50 years, never having worked like a regular all-American blue-collar worker. They don't know what the hell that's like.
Yeah,
they don't know what it's like to have to work your ass off to pay your rent.
Yeah, career politicians for sure.
That's right. They're career politicians. Look at Pelosi, 35 years.
Yep.
She's one of the richest women in the world.
By the way, Mike, just to tag on to that.
The family line for Pelosi.
Hold on there, caller. Eric, 1 second. Okay. I got to inform Mike here, which I think is something that Vaughn was referring to when he said about these people that have been around in the media. I think he also meant like a lot of the producers and people and the higher ups who have been also like career TV producers and all that shit, Mike, that are, controlling the narrative that they've been doing this for a long time. I think that's kind of what Vaughn was also referring to when he made those comments earlier.
I agree.
I think that's what he was referring to as well. But yeah, I agree with all of you here. Everyone's been making great points tonight.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Everybody has their 2 cents, and sometimes and I've learned this in my own as a researcher. It's a hobby to me, but it's insane the amount of research I've done on different topics. But I've got it wrong before, and I've learned what I've learned to do is when I think I've got it right, just to hold on a minute before I start spouting out my mouth. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right.
But anyway.
I understand. And by the way, Eric, for those that don't know, Eric here, you've been doing a lot of research in ufology.
Yes.
What can you tell us about what's going on right now in that world?
That's a perfect question. I'm glad you asked, because what I've been able to do is by going to all these conferences and meeting people that are, what I decided to do is to research the researchers. So I can figure out who was legit and who was just blowing smoke. Guys like Corey Good and David Wilcox. A lot of these guys are just jackoffs. But the real researchers out there, there's a guy in Kingman, Arizona named Harry Drew. Have you ever heard of that guy?
I can't say I have, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not out there, but he's got a ranch out there, and I met him also at the MegaCon. But I've been trying to become a friend with this guy so he would trust me enough to tell me things, and he won't actually say that he worked on the crash retrieval program, but he'll tell me all about it and all the players and all the stories. And I'm thinking, how would he know this? This is not even information you can research. But he told me that if I drive out to Kingman, Arizona on Old Stockton Road, which there was 3 crashes, or 2 crashes and a landing at the Red Lake in Kingman, Arizona in 1953. And if you drive out Old Stockton Road, it's about a 40-mile road in the middle of the desert. There's some amazing granite mountains out there. He says you drive about 20 miles out, you park out there at night, and you will see UFOs. And so I took myself and John Polk, Brad Olson, and this girl named Sarah Adams, and we went out there. And I'm not exaggerating. we saw 15 to 20 UFOs in a half an hour. It
Really?
was like without even, swear to God, not even BSing. So that was pretty cool because he knew they were there because he's got a ranch out there. And so anyway, that's one spot. But Sedona is a hot spot. I've seen several in Sedona, but
I'm trying to get Mike to go out there, Sedona, Arizona. So you can go visit the cat ladies.
I'll even chip in for the gas if you want to come out, man. I'd love to have you out.
Yeah, see, there you go, Mike. We got a sponsor here for you. You could meet some cat ladies out there.
When the time comes where I'm actually able to travel, then I'll worry about it. But right now, I am in no position to go anywhere since I've recently lost all my work for the summer and possibly until next year.
Cat life matters.
Now, what is this about cats? Because I'm a cat dude. Is Mike a cat dude also?
Are you a cat man? Is that what's going on, Eric? How many cats do you own?
I am a cat man. I've got 2 cats. At one time I had 5 cats, but I've got 2 now.
Oh, shit. Mike, I think he has
I used
to
to travel with my cats. I took my cats through 7 states one time.
Oh, my
Literally
God.
in my car. I know it's insane.
Poor kitty.
Yeah.
Doing all
One
that
cat
driving.
could not stand it.
I
The
know.
other cat was terrible.
Wow.
All right, so I got
By the
one
way-
good story to tell you.
Oh, go ahead,
ahead.
Mike. Yes.
Just real quick,
Go,
by
Mike.
the way, Michael, how's your cat doing?
The cat's fine, the one outside.
And how's that in that cut that was on his leg?
He was cut. By the way, for those that don't know, there's a cat that he's been frequenting my house, to be honest with you. And I saw this poor cat limping around, and I felt terrible about the poor little cat. And he's doing better now, though.
That's good.
Yeah, he's much better, that little bastard.
Yeah, how I got into cats, Michael and Mike, is several years ago I was dating this lady in Santa Barbara, and she was a cat rescuer. She worked for. Yeah, so a part of our dates would be I'd drive up there and we'd go around and she would feed these feral stray cats out on hiding on the train tracks and in the streets and so on and so forth.
That's really
and
nice.
there was this one cat that was very sick that she rescued and took to the vet, and she was so good that she smoothed these vets over to get it to the point where it survive, but it had to be on medicine. But then, of course, I got kind of smoothed into taking the ownership of this cat, and the cat lived about a year. But in the meantime, I'd gotten another cat that was beautiful. That was another rescue cat that I still have. They call him Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
That's good.
Billy the Kid. He's quite the guy.
That's very
doesn't make any
noble of
noise.
you, Eric. That's very noble of you. What you've done is a good thing. You're helping these animals that have been, in many cases, left by their owners or lost,
right?
Because they weren't cared for. So you've done the right thing, and that is a very noble thing that you've done. So kudos to you.
It makes me feel good. It's good. It's good companionship too. If you have an animal, I think if you're because I'm a single guy. I travel a lot. I date occasionally, but I'm just at my age. I'm my 57. I'm not really in today's time.
I'm shocked by that. To be honest with you, Eric, I'm kind of astonished and taken back by these claims that you're like this single guy. Especially with all the conferences out there and all the cat ladies and the new agers out there. I mean, I would think you're kind of the man in their eyes, Eric. You're.
There's been several that have tried to smooth their way into the into the van down by the river.
Exactly.
But, I've got to just like you said earlier in the conversation before I called, you've got to be careful because and I love women. But some of them have agendas, and if they think they can start working you, they will. And I don't have time for that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Well, Eric,
I'm living proof of that.
Well, Eric, I do want to thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here.
Okay, buddy. Good talking to you guys, and we'll stay tuned on the amazing Michael Decon show with co-host Mike Hideous.
Very nice.
Got it. Thanks for listening, man.
All right, guys. I'm going to hang up. Good night.
Good night and mahalo.
Good night.
Mahalo.
And there he goes. Great call. And by the way, Mike, as I mentioned earlier in the night here, I did an interview recently, but this time I wasn't doing the interview. I was actually being interviewed.
Right.
And I must be honest, Mike, I don't do many interviews. Again, I turned them down, and I did an interview on a show called Nox Mente with Jerry and Nish. And I had fun. It's always different when you're being asked questions and not asking them, you know?
Yep. Oh, I know.
That's right. So, I always have a habit of wanting to ask questions, and that's kind of what was coming out of me during that interview. I was trying to...
it's part of you. That's why.
Right. So it's like, God damn it, I can't ask questions.
Well, what was the show that you were on so people can hear it?
It's called Nox Mente. And for those who haven't heard, go ahead and take a listen.
How do you spell that?
Noxtemente. Nox Mente.
Program or show?
It's a show.
So just look up Nox Mente.
Right. And of course, I got a bit of a negative message here that someone sent to me when I was on that show. And there was an individual out there who I've interviewed before, and he said in the chat room, he says he supports Nox Mente, but not this guest. He's a big dick. Only in the field to try and make it famous, like George Norrie. He interviewed me like 5 years ago and then treated me poorly. So, Mike, it's been several years and this person is still ass hurt. What a bitch.
All right.
Yeah, well, cry louder.
What's he doing now?
I have no idea.
Well, there you go.
Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck what he's doing.
Right. Well, if again, it always astounds me how people have the time to either write to you or make a comment. Oh, this person sucks and I hate that person. You know what? You don't like him? Shut the hell up. Who cares? I don't go listen to all my dirty laundry.
Right. Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I sort of got over that a long time ago when I was in high school.
Exactly.
Why would I give a shit if you like me or not?
Well, some people just can't give it up. And in this world...
I'm not here to be liked, by the way, Mike.
And in this world we live in, Michael, everybody, they're a champ.
Everyone's a pussy. That's the problem.
They're a champ behind their computer screen.
Well, that too. The
right?
keyboard
you get in
warriors.
Front of them, they won't say a goddamn word.
Of course not.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten hate mail, online or even in the mail. But I know these people have been in the same places that I've been in publicly, and they never once have ever come up to me and said to my face, "Oh, you're a jerk."
Exactly. That's true. None of these individuals ever come up to me, and they know where I'll be. Yet they never show themselves.
That's right.
A bunch of pussies. Oh well.
Everybody's they're so tough behind their computer screens.
Very tough. So, Mike, once again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of the program. Thank you to those in the chat room right now, and of course the mods, and of course our guest, the Von Wehunt of the Von Wehunt Show, the legendary Von Wehunt. And yes, I called him the Von Wehunt.
That's kind of redundant, isn't it? Like Von. Doesn't Von mean the?
I believe so, but I think it drives the point home. It makes people say, oh, okay, the Von Wehunt. Okay. Just to drive the point home. And don't forget, if you are a listener of the program, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here.
Yes, people, make sure you subscribe. It's the best way to find out when the show's on. Exactly.
Mike, go ahead. Plug anything you'd like. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much. Just the same old stuff, folks. First of all, I want to say thank you very much to Michael Decon. Thank you all for listening. Thank you to Mr. Wehunt for coming on the show tonight. And again, for everybody who's listening, my hat goes off to all of you. It's been these past few months have been so great, just doing the show with Michael and the positive feedback that both of us have gotten as a result of my coming on. I'm very grateful to all of you who will listen. If you're interested in checking out my artwork or my photographs, which are all for sale, by the way, you can go to horribleartwork.com. And if you're interested in any of my music from the past and or present, you can go to MikeHideous.com, and that's Mike, M-Y-K-E. And if you're interested in contacting me directly, you can reach me at Hideous Mike, M-Y-K-E, on Facebook, that is. Facebook.com/Hideous Mike. And that's it. Once again, thank you, everyone. I had a very great night tonight. The interview was just fascinating and energized. It was just energized. Awesome show.
Very nice. And I will talk to you very soon, Mike. I believe we will return Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Once again, Mike, thank you so much for being a part of the program, and mahalo, my friend.
All right, buddy. You take care. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. And there he goes, boys and girls, the one and only Mr. Mike Hideous. Thank you to him. Thank you to all of those that will listen to this on the podcast rendition of the program. And of course, if you want bonus material, please direct yourself to patreon.com/Michael Decon. Yes, thank you, Lilith. And yeah, paypal.me/Michael Decon. If you go to PayPal, in the bottom description there, you'll find the link. If you do use PayPal, I will personally send you all of the Patreon episodes, and it's pretty goddamn good, I promise. And the Von Wehunt show at the bottom there in the chat, yes. Thank you so much, Vaughn, for being a part of the program. It was fun. We hope to do it again. Yes, and for those that are wondering, Vaughn will return and do a Patreon series episode with me. Yes, the Von Wehunt show next Thursday at 8 p.m. on Blog Talk is where you can find the Von Wehunt show. Once again, thank you so much. It's been fun. And again, there is nothing more frightening than reality, folks. I say that every night. And it is the truth. International listeners out there, thank you so much. Those in Sweden. Lots of listeners in Sweden, if you can believe it. They have accepted me there for whatever reason. Love them very much. Canada, Germany, the UK, Australia, Norway, and Brazil. All very lovely. Thank you so much. And of course, whatever you do choose to believe, you must adapt now. All control has been lost, it seems. We are without a rescue party in sight. And with that said, the world is a mysterious place, and life itself is a mystery. Until next time, good night, everybody.
We'll be right back.